Good evening. This is a regular City Commission meeting for the City of Largo. Today is Tuesday, November 19th, 2024. I'd like to call this meeting to order and ask that if you have a cell phone, please turn it to silent or off so that we don't have any interruptions. We're going to start this evening's meeting with an invocation given by Commissioner Chris Johnson, and then if you can please remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Father God, I just thank you for the opportunity, Lord God, to serve this city. We thank you for the men and women who work so hard to keep our citizens safe, Lord. We ask that you would just continue to make us good stewards up here of all that the citizens have entrusted us with, Lord. And we pray for your wisdom on decisions we have to make tonight, Lord. And we ask your blessing on this time. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Commissioner. The first item on the agenda is swearing in of newly elected city commissioners. But before we get to that, we'd like to thank the folks that are moving on from City Commission. So we have two commissioners, Commissioner Jamie Robinson, and Jamie Robinson was first elected
2012?
2012 and has served our city very well. And I'd like to present him with this, which says, in recognition of your public service to the City of Largo, and it's a beautiful thing for your desk. Thank you for... Commissioner Robinson, it's been a pleasure serving with you, as I'm sure everybody up here would echo those words. And would you like to say anything? It's up to you.
Yeah, so again, we talked a little bit about this last Tuesday, but I really just wanted to say thank you to everybody up here. I've worked with everybody up here for the last several years, and all the commissioners that I've worked with over the last 12 years. Excuse me, I've learned a lot from every single one of them, and it's truly been one of the greatest honors of my life to be able to serve the city that I grew up in. So I appreciate all the time and look forward to the City of Largo continuing to be a great place. So thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Also, our Vice Mayor Eric Gerard. He's a new guy. He's been here since 2020 and served excellently and has been a great colleague here on the City Commission, and we certainly will miss you as well. But I know that you've got a lot of things planned for the next few years. So, Vice Mayor Gerard, thank you so much. And I know we might get into roundabouts, but would you like to say something?
Roundabouts are the way to go. I do want to say and echo Jamie down there. It's been an honor and an educational experience to serve the people of Largo in this capacity. I've learned so much. Some people may not believe it, but I've actually learned how to keep my mouth shut at the right time. Whoa. Sometimes. But this is a wonderful city. This is a wonderful board. I look forward to watching you in the future and to know that the collegial attitude of all the members on this board will continue, which sets us apart from so many others. And I want to thank my wife for her patience all these years with me, not just the four that I've been on, but we will be celebrating our 40th anniversary on December 1st, and that's a miracle in itself, and I want to say I love you, Pat. Thank you. Thanks.
Thank you. Now we will move on to our newly elected officials. We have John Lauser and Michael DeBreezy. If you could join me down here, because I'm being sworn in as well.
Good evening, newly elected commissioners. Just repeat after me. I state your name. Do solemnly swear that I will support and protect the Constitution of the United States and of the state of Florida against all enemies, domestic or foreign, and that I will bear true faith, loyalty, and allegiance to the same, that I am entitled to hold office under the Constitution, that I will faithfully perform all of the duties of the office of Commissioner or Mayor in the city of Largo, upon which I am about to enter. Congratulations.
Commissioner distress.
Go ahead and change this, but we're going to vote on it in 3 minutes.
Mike?
You have to be starting.
I'll call you if I'm happy to.
Wait a second, what am I getting into now?
Next, we're going to hear about the 2024 Solid Waste Association of North America's International Equipment Rodeo. We'll hear about Largo participants and winners.
Did you throw that away?
Let's see if we can do this tonight. All right, good evening, everybody. The Solid Waste Association of North America hosts an annual state international rodeo where drivers showcase their skills and abilities in a competitive environment. The city of Largo has proudly participated in this event for the past 30 years. This competition not only promotes safety, but also enhances the proficiency of drivers, equipment operators, and mechanics of the solid waste industry. Moreover, it fosters goodwill among participating organizations and their drivers, strengthening community ties and encouraging collaboration within the field. City of Largo Public Works Department is proud to congratulate our participants for competing in the 2024 Swana International Rodeo held October 5th, 2024 in Dublin, Georgia. Only 13 drivers from across the state of Florida were selected to compete in this event. Special shout out to Mr. Jason Gray for securing second place in the front loader competition, and to Mr. David Wyckoff for his participation in the front loader category. Your dedication and skills represent our city well, and we are thrilled to see our team excel in this prestigious event. Thank you for your hard work and commitment to safety and proficiency in the solid waste industry.
Congratulations.
Next, we'll have Largo's Small Business Month proclamation.
Whereas the Largo City Commission is proud to celebrate Largo's local entrepreneurs, their energy, ingenuity, and perseverance, and whereas from the storefront shops that anchor downtown Largo to the technology companies that keep Largo on the cutting edge, small businesses are the backbone of the community, and whereas Largo's businesses embrace innovative technologies and employ a diverse workforce to preserve the economic well-being of all Largo's residents, and whereas small businesses are the nation's job creators and comprise over 99% of all firms in the United States, which make up over 33.1 million small businesses, and whereas half of all businesses are home-based and about 1 in 5 businesses are family-owned, and whereas Largo's businesses contribute to the vibrancy and independence of this community, keep money in the local economy, create jobs, offer important and essential services, and employ a diverse workforce. And whereas the Largo City Commission honors local entrepreneurs for helping make Largo the community of choice in Tampa Bay, and whereas residents of Largo are asked to recognize the contributions of our community's local small businesses and the key role they play in keeping our economy strong, now therefore, I, Louis Woody Brown, Mayor of the City of Largo, Florida, and on behalf of the City Commission, do hereby proclaim the month of November 2024 as Largo Small Business Month in the City of Largo.
Well, good evening, Mayor and City Commissioners. It's a pleasure to be here tonight as we come together to celebrate Largo's vibrant entrepreneurial spirit. This marks the 12th year that Largo City Commission has recognized November as Small Business Month, an important time to acknowledge and raise awareness about the significant role Largo businesses play in enhancing the quality of life here in the City of Largo. As we do each year, in honor of Small Business Month, the city will waive fees for temporary events during November. This means that local businesses will be able to host temporary events like sidewalk sales and on-site promotions at no cost, creating an exciting opportunity for them to engage with the community and prepare for the upcoming holiday shopping season. To ensure these businesses get the attention they deserve, the Economic Development Division will be promoting the moratorium through weekly e-newsletters, social media channels, and by collaborating with our community partners. Additionally, we're excited to continue pushing our social media campaign designed to spotlight the incredible local businesses that help make Largo the community of choice here in Tampa Bay. Finally, we encourage all of our residents and visitors to support these businesses by shopping local throughout the month of November. By doing so, we can strengthen our local economy and celebrate the entrepreneurs who make Largo such a special place to live, work, and shop. Thank you for your time and continued support of our small business community.
Thank you. Next, we have team members of the quarter.
Good evening, Mayor, Commissioners. Team Member of the Quarter program recognizes team members quarterly for exemplifying, contributing to, and upholding the City of Largo's mission, vision, and values while going above and beyond their normal job duties. Nominations for the third quarter of 2024 were received through September 30th of 24. The selection committee is comprised of team members representing all of the departments within the city. And each team member of the quarter receives 8 hours of personal option time and 600 points added to their team reward center. So the first team member of the quarter is Kevin Miller from Environmental Services. Come on up. One of our most dedicated wastewater operators, Ron Gavin, passed away suddenly on May 28, 2024. Kevin Miller immediately put together a team to brainstorm a way to honor Ron's memory within the department. Ron loved to cook and barbecue for the department and frequently used the second floor operations break room for his morale-boosting culinary talent displays. So Kevin and his team knew the best way to honor Ron's memory was to rename the break room Ron's Kitchen. Kevin's team also created a memorial board for Ron where we can post recipes and motivational words to each other. Thank you so much to Kevin and his team for making sure Ron Gavin's memory will live on here at the wastewater reclamation facility. Congratulations. Our next team member of the quarter is Kelly Brown from IT. Come on up. Kelly is a dedicated, brilliant, caring, and helpful team member that never makes you feel like a burden. The building division team has been working very closely with Kelly through the transition to the new office software, and she has made herself available even into the late hours of the night to provide assistance. When you reach out to Kelly, you know she is going to treat you with the utmost respect and find a viable solution to your problem. We could never have made this transition successfully without the devotion that Kelly has given to our success. We are truly grateful for her and hope she will be recognized and rewarded for her ongoing efforts for the superior service she provides to the City of Largo. Kelly consistently demonstrates a positive attitude and exceptional dedication in her role. She has significantly contributed to the permitting department's efforts during the Tyler rollout, going above and beyond in her support. Her professionalism and cheerful demeanor when addressing questions further highlight her commitment to excellent service. But wait, there's more. Kelly Brown has been an absolute rock star assisting with our new software program, the Largo Civic Access Portal. She's been hands-on every step of the way. We've all gone through technology upgrades and changes, but we're so thankful we had Kelly to guide us through the challenges we've come up against. Not only is she incredibly knowledgeable, but patient and willing to go the extra mile to aid team members in understanding and learning the new system. Due to her efforts and determination, we're able to provide a better customer service experience to our homeowners, contractors, and business owners face-to-face every day. Thank you, Kelly, for all of your hard work and dedication. We appreciate you, and we're grateful to have you as our team member. Congratulations. And our managers of the quarter are Raymond Adams and Sean Clark from Public Works. Come on up, both of you. On July 17th, 2024, Sean Clark and Ray Adams were on Ulmerton Road to address a solid waste issue when they noticed smoke rising from a building alongside the road. Without a second thought, they made a U-turn to investigate. As they approached, it became clear that a fire had broken out at a local pool business. They immediately alerted the employees and customers inside the building, guiding them to safety. As the fire began to spread, the City of Largo team members took swift action. They used fire extinguishers from their vehicle to combat the flames, managing to extinguish the flames and keeping the situation under control until the City of Largo Fire Department arrived. Thanks to their quick thinking and decisive actions, the fire was extinguished and the building sustained minimal damage. No one was injured and the business was saved from significant harm. Sean and Ray exemplified the spirit of servant leadership, embodying the values of passion, dedication, and courage that define the City of Largo. Their heroism underscores why the City of Largo is known as the community of choice in Tampa Bay. Their actions went above and beyond their duties, showcasing their commitment to the safety and well-being of others. Sean and Ray are true heroes to our customers, employees, and citizens. Congratulations.
Thank you. Now we have a proclamation declaring November 2024 as Native American Heritage Month.
Whereas during National Native American Heritage Month, we celebrate the rich tapestry of indigenous peoples, including Native American, American Indian, First Nation, Native Alaskan, and other indigenous groups, and honor their sacrifices, which we recognize as inextricably woven into the history of this country. And whereas Native Americans are represented across the United States by 574 federally recognized American Indian and Alaska Native nations and are descendants of the original indigenous inhabitants of this land, and whereas the city recognizes the deeply rooted history of Native Americans across Central Florida, including the Tocobaga people as the first inhabitants of the land now known as the City of Largo, in addition to neighboring Timucua tribe that lived across the greater Tampa Bay area, and the Seminole and Miccosukee tribes who continue to have an active presence in the community and have significant history across what is now Florida. And whereas Native Americans have lived through experiences of tragedy, triumph, and perseverance that should be shared with future generations, and whereas Native Americans have enriched our heritage and continue to add to all aspects of our society through their generosity of culture and the continued practice of teaching, economic, environmental, and cultural sustainability, and whereas our country is blessed by the character and strength exemplified by the Native Americans who have answered the call of service in our armed forces in greater numbers per capita than any other group in the United States, and whereas during the month of November we honor Native peoples in their ancestral homes, and recognize their continued contributions to strengthening our society, now therefore I, Woody Brown, Mayor of the City of Largo, Florida, and on behalf of the City Commission, do hereby proclaim the month of November 2024 as Native American Heritage Month in the City of Largo, in conjunction with the celebration of National Native American Heritage Month, and with recognition of the local nonprofit, the Alliance for Weeden Island Archaeological Research and Education Incorporated, an organization dedicated to studying and educating the public about Tampa Bay's rich cultural heritage.
City Commission, City Leadership, and Largo Community, happy Native American Heritage Month.
This month is an opportunity to highlight the rich history, culture, and contributions of Native Americans and local tribes across Pinellas County, Florida, and beyond. There are a variety of ways to learn more about Native American contributions, both past and present, this month and all year long. A few of those include looking to Largo Public Library as a wonderful place to visit all year and check lobby display to learn more or connect with one of your local librarians. We also encourage the community to consider visiting some of the amazing neighborhood cultural centers, including the Tocobaga Temple Mound and Safety Harbor Museum, the Tocobaga Memorial Plaza at Pinellas County's Tiki Gardens, as well as the Ata Tiki Museum a few hours southeast in Clewiston, Florida. Another wonderful local cultural and natural history center is the Weeden Island Preserve in neighboring St. Petersburg, and the aligned nonprofit that helps support this center, the Alliance for Weeden Island Archaeological Research and Education, or AWARE. AWARE is a nonprofit organization that has its goal to promote and facilitate long-term research and education at the preserve and across the Gulf Coast region. We see this organization as a true benefit to our region and value their efforts to educate the public about Tampa Bay's rich cultural heritage. The president of AWARE, Dr. John Arthur, is here with us tonight to accept this year's proclamation on the organization's behalf and tell us more about their contributions and opportunities for community engagement.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, City Commissioners, City Leadership. Thank you for your service. Thank you for recognizing AWARE and this important month. I'd like to start by just saying that Native Americans have been here for 15,000 years. That's 600 generations. That's an incredible amount of generational knowledge that AWARE are stewards of, and trying to understand how did Native Americans adapt to the environment in Florida? How did they be successful? How did they fail? How can we learn from Native Americans? So AWARE, like we've heard, is a nonprofit. I, myself, as the president, we have a board of directors, we have a number of wonderful volunteers. Everybody that dedicates their time to AWARE is not paid. All the funds that we receive go back into the archaeological resources, curating artifacts for the city, for the county, partnering with cities like the city of Largo. And we have our doctrine really is to educate the public about archaeology. So we have a children's camp that we usually run in the summer, and so children learn about the scientific process of archaeology. They learn about how did Native Americans live around the coastal areas of the Tampa Bay region, what kind of tools did they use, how did they adapt. We also have an adult camp. Every spring, starting in February, we have 2 weeks where adults can come out and actually excavate out at the Weeden Island site. They excavate for half the day, and then they work in the lab the other half. And then on the fifth day of each week, we usually go out to one of the archaeological sites and have a lecture. We also have lectures every month, and so our next lecture is December 12th, and check that out on our website, aware.org. And we partner with the Central Gulf Coast Archaeological Society with that. And if you're so excited after watching that lecture, you can go to the Weeden Island Cultural Center on the 13th, and we have an open lab for 2 hours. You can stay as long as you want, and you can sort through all the archaeological materials that we excavate out at Weeden Island. And the general public loves to do this. It's good therapy for people. They can kind of focus on what's in front of them and get away from the world around them. So that's our education part of AWARE. We also do research, and so we explore the archaeological record of the Tampa Bay region. In 2011, with the help of one of our participants that part of AWARE, we found a canoe that was still submerged along the Tampa Bay coastline, and we excavated that in 2011. That is the longest saltwater canoe that's ever been excavated in the state of Florida or in the Caribbean, and it is now on exhibit at the Cultural Center at the Weeden Island. We also are excavating out at Weeden Island, and we're finding new stories to tell, and we're just now unlocking kind of the past of Weeden Island over the last 5 or 10 years. And then the last thing I would like to mention is that we are involved in a new project, and you might not realize this, but 10,000, 12,000 years ago, Tampa Bay was not Tampa Bay. It was a grassland, and there was had sinkholes, and we know that there were sinkholes that had people that lived them, Native Americans that were living along these sinkholes around 12,000 years ago. So we are raising funds to do underwater archaeology in the Tampa Bay region. We want to eventually get divers down into near these sinkholes and to see how people were living 12, 13,000 years ago in the Tampa Bay region. So if you're interested in supporting AWARE, we have a research station at the Weeden Island facility. We have to keep the lights on, so to speak. So again, everything goes, all the funds go back to supporting that research station, supporting the volunteers, and helping to educate the public and doing scientific research. So thank you very much.
All right, next we'll have citizens comment. If you'd like to speak about something on the agenda outside of the consent docket, please wait until that item comes up. Do we have any cards this evening?
Yes, I have several cards. First is Ed Bettisfor.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, City Commissioners, and Managers. My name is Ed Bettisfor. I live in Venetian Gardens. I'm the HOA Vice President. There is no president right now, so I'm the acting president as well. The reason I'm here this evening is looking for your guidance and looking for your direction, specifically as it pertains to the issues around FEMA's 50-50 rule. Hurricane Helene damaged every single home in our neighborhood, and in trying to come out of that and work through that, we've come to understand that FEMA has a 50-50 rule, essentially stating that if your home value is X, you can spend up to 50% of that before you would be forced to raise your house to make it in compliance with current flood standards. That was quite a surprise to us, a shock to us. It's something we weren't expecting, but it's what it is. And it doesn't appear as though it's anything local. It seems to be a universal policy that FEMA and FIP has across the country. But then there are other issues that go beyond that 50% rule that do appear to be in the control of you folks. So we're looking for guidance on these three issues of who we can speak to in the city of Largo to better understand what the benefits of these issues are to the community and to the citizens of Largo, and give us the opportunity to make an educated decision as to whether we want to come back to you and make a proposal for change. And specifically, those issues are the 5-year look-back rule that's associated with the 50% rule. Then there's the valuation of our properties, whether it's in actual cash value or an RCV. And then thirdly, there's issues of permits that are pulled for work completely unrelated to storms that count towards our 50% value that we can spend before we have to knock down our homes and raise them. So we're really looking for guidance. Who in the city of Largo can we speak to better understand it, to understand what the value is, because there's value to it, I'm sure, and then give us the opportunity to come back if we choose to and make a presentation to you. And whatever time's left for me, I'll hold for questions or comments.
think we really don't have conversation back and forth up here during
Okay.
citizens' comment, but
Okay.
we'll certainly be in touch with you as far as these things that
Thank
you
you.
just mentioned. I wrote
Thank
them
you
all down.
very much.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Next speaker is Rebecca John.
Good evening, Commissioners. I'm Rebecca Matanaya John. I'm the Vice President of the Largo Central Railroad. And I just wanted to touch base with you. We're getting ready to step into December, which is a very active time for us. And then 2025, and for anyone in the room that doesn't know, the Largo Central Railroad is a volunteer organization. We function as an amenity to Largo Central Park as well as a family for railroaders in the Tampa Bay area and a science, technology, engineering, maths hands-on program for our next generation. So I just wanted to touch base and say thank you for all the time that this commission puts into the Largo Central Railroad, as well as Director Prensing, Assistant Director Corey, Superintendent Cons, and Supervisor Prito. And we hope to be of service to the community for many years to come. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next speaker is Matt Faustini.
Evening all, Matt Faustini, 1015 Lake Palms Drive, Largo. First, I want to congratulate our two new commissioners and wish them well as they start their new journey. I hope the mayor will indulge me for a minute. Our planning board meeting was canceled, so I just want to take a moment to thank our former chair, now Commissioner DeBreezy. Mike, you set the tone for leadership, for decency, for respect, and preparation. And while I can't speak for others on the board due to sunshine laws, I think I can safely say we will all miss your leadership, and it was an honor to serve with you. And I know you will make us proud as a commissioner. Now, on a little more somber note, I was actually, and hearing the gentleman that came up earlier, I wanted to speak about the FEMA 50% rule because I was concerned about it and understand that the 50% rule is managed at the city level. People do need to understand the city's floodplain manager. I've been in the weeds on trying to learn as much as I can about this, and I hope the city is learning lessons, because seeing what the beach communities are going through right now and the chaos, I don't want our city going through that, and I can't imagine what this gentleman and their community are going through. And if Milton would have hit us the way it would, we would have had a lot more severely flooded homes in flood zones that would have caused it. So one thing is the 50% rule only applies if you are in a FEMA flood zone. Just one important note that I've learned. So we do have a 5-year look back period. FEMA does want people to focus on making their properties safe, sound, secure in most circumstances. But that does not mean restoring your property back to a workable condition, does not mean putting drywall back or electric back. They want you to keep debris from your home if an adjuster hasn't come on your lot, so the adjuster can see the debris. If they haven't come out and seen it. These are all things we need to have a communication for. So we're actively telling our residents and preparing them so they know, because these residents out in the beach community and unincorporated Pinellas, they had no idea that they had any of this coming. And our residents need to be prepared and know what they need to do in case of the worst case scenario. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Next speaker is Greg Gardner, and he's representing Kimberly Bramer and Michael Montecola.
Ms. Johnston, thank you for coming here, and thank you for swearing in our two new commissioners. This speech has nothing to do with you. Thank you. Law is the cornerstone of a civilized society. Laws ensure order, justice, and the protection of our rights from abuse of government and abuse on each other. Ethics tells us what's right or wrong, good or bad, in our professional and personal capacity. Here is a Florida's attorney oath of ethics. I swear to exercise my functions with dignity, conscience, independence, integrity, and humanity. A Florida attorney cannot use his or her craft to do harm. The question tonight is, how can a city attorney swear in a public servant oath if that attorney has abandoned their own oath, to the Florida bar and equally abandoned ethics and moral principles required to practice law? The answer is, Alan's not here, but Alan Zimmett could not ethically do it. Luckily, she's here. To do so is moral debauchery, sacrilegious, and a charade. Having no oath, morals, or ethics lets an attorney do what they want. Alan Zimmett functions out of self-interest, self-preservation, and self-enrichment. Just like attorney Christopher Reynolds, the Seminole attorney who's facing a very long prison sentence. Alan persecutes those who interfere with or question his motives. Alan will retaliate with lawfare, sanctions, or protracted litigation until you bleed dry. Alan mutilates our most cherished right, the right to life, liberty, property, and due process. Luckily, our two new commissioners that came in through the front door this evening possess the most cherished oath anybody could ask for. A personal oath based on integrity, honor, respect, dignity, trust, courage, servitude, and loyalty. An oath both men chose over 2 decades ago. A pledge to God and an affirmation to the betterment of our society and others. And that's why they're here. It's not for the money. I wanted to mail 65,000 flyers to the community this summer and convince the city why DeBreezy and Lauser were the right choice. Unfortunately, Alan Zimmett and his cohorts waged 14 months of lawfare, draining my wallet of $11,000. Alan Zimmett proved his true character, and oddly, I am grateful. I'm appreciative. And if he was there, I'd say thank you. I don't know if this makes sense, but it will eventually. Turns out the city was quite a bit smarter than I thought. The flyers were not needed. And as a bonus, I added one more chapter to Alan Zimmett's departure. Thank you very much, Alan. It's time to write a story about these two men, our new commissioners, and why they're exceptional, and share it with the community. And we can add a third gentleman in this room to the mix who meets the same high standards as DeBreezy and Lauser. I think the appropriate title for the story would be A Few Good Men. Would you approve? I'm sure you would. Now, a few questions for you two gentlemen. Do you two know what the Constitution is and who it is meant for? I believe you do. Thank you very much. Can we trust you to be our guardians of our most sacred and cherished constitutional rights? Yes. Are you willing to fight like holy hell to defend those who are persecuted by our very own city government? And some of those are in front of me. Would you fight like hell? Yes. Would you?
Sir, you
yes. Don't interrupt me.
You need to direct
Don't
to the chair.
No, not you. Those two.
That's
No.
the call.
No.
Citizens call.
Nah. Behave. Because your predecessors would not defend our rights. Do you two believe in the freedom of free speech and press? Even if it meant writing bad things about your colleagues. I think you do, and I hope you do. It is an honor, it is a pleasure to see both you at this direction, at this angle. I really, and this city's really going to be happy to have you. Good night, thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Next speakers are Jose Ortiz and Alan Tucker, and they are representing Mark Jordan, Dale Morris, Bryn Diekey, and Kim Diekey.
That's all right. Good evening, Commissioners. I stand before you today not just as a resident of the city, but as a homeowner whose lives have been profoundly impacted by the recent drainage project over on Church Creek. I've lived in my home since I purchased it back in 2020, and over these years, we've never faced significant drainage issues until now. Recent 2 hurricanes that just passed, this recent one, Milton, hours before it made landfall, brought unprecedented water back up to my neighborhood, which is 30 feet above sea level. Couldn't understand that. The ordeal was also shared by my neighbors, who I'm representing now, plus a couple more that couldn't make it tonight, turning all of our lives upside down literally overnight. The cause of this disaster appears to be multifaceted. There might have been some issues with how the project was managed over at Church Creek, the staging area not properly being secured, sod laid down before the hurricane and not properly secured, inadequate design or maintenance of the drainage system, or failure to remove protective barriers before the storm. However, the most pressing concern for us has been the neglect of Church Creek right behind our neighborhood, which has overflowed repeatedly twice in the last 15 years, impacting us 9 homeowners, including myself. Before coming here today, I did approach the Church Creek project's main site supervisor, who did confirm that the city is aware that there is issues with the creek. No maintenance or remedy has ever been brought to the creek since I bought my home back in 2020, and, one second, just lost something, sorry. I was on the roll. And my neighbors have confirmed neglect of the creek since they've purchased their home 12 plus years ago. So no maintenance or mismanagement has led to severe water backups, which this current hurricane brought 10 inches to my home and some of my neighbors over 3 feet of water. The advice given by, fortunately, your office, Mayor Brown, was to contact FEMA, but I'm not aware that FEMA fixes creeks. I'm not sure they do. I'm here to ask for accountability and action. One, an immediate reevaluation, since the city has been there 4 times since the creek's current project, which I would assume they would know, since the supervisor did inform them as well that they can fix the issues, because there are high spots exactly where the drainage is, but they denied that fix, even though they're there fixing a drainage issue. So I'm not understanding what's going on. Also, a plan for immediate remediation of the current situation. How will the city support those of us who have lost so much during this project? And a commitment to ongoing maintenance, because this has been a creek that's been neglected. There's trash, trees knocked over. We pay tax dollars, guys. We got to do something here. But anyways, can I get?
Yeah, so I'll kind of reiterate some of what he said, because it seems like all of our emails are being responded to the same. We're looking over them earlier. So I live on 134th Street, where the 3rd phase of that project's going on. I've been in the neighborhood since 1997. I've been in my specific home since 2008. One of the reasons I bought that home when I had the time with my wife was because of the neighborhood that I grew up in. My mother still lives in the neighborhood. My sister and brother-in-law, my niece, live in the neighborhood. And now my 19-month-old daughter lives in the neighborhood with us. That night, 3 hours before Milton made landfall, I had water entering my home. I ended up the next morning, after my house flooded, pulling 140 gallons of water out of my 19-month-old daughter's bedroom. We had to evacuate on foot because the water rose so high outside of our home that my lifted Chevy Silverado had water hood high, and we could not leave with our vehicles. So my wife, my daughter, and I had to walk to my mother's house, who lives in the neighborhood, who was not impacted by this drainage project. I reached out to the city afterwards as well, and I received no response from anybody. Luckily, a friend of mine knows Ms. Paluch, I apologize if I pronounced that incorrectly, and put me in contact with her. And I've had some correspondence with her and Mr. Walazinski, I believe the director of engineering. During those interactions, basically I was told that the 3+ foot of water that came into my home was because the soil was saturated, which is completely incorrect. we've got photos and videos of the sod that was laid down 2 days before Hurricane Milton rushing down the road and into the drainage. My house butts up to that creek, and I know for a fact that the city of Largo has done nothing to maintain that creek. The creek has been poor since I bought the home, and it's only gotten worse. I'm not saying that those two things are the only factors in the flooding of our homes, but they were contributing factors for sure. I work in utilities. I'm a manager for employee and contractors training and safety. Before every hurricane, we send our inspectors out to meet with our contractors to safe up any work site. And that would mean any soil, any sod that is not rooted needs to come up because it will cause drainage issues. In the email with your engineering director, he stated that an inspector was on site to ensure that all any restrictions for drainage was removed. So if that inspector was on site, they should have ensured that the contractor safed that area, and they clearly did not. In the email I have from him as well, he mentions that the city has every intention and plans to dredge the ditch behind our house, but they haven't gotten to that yet. If the city had the knowledge that the drainage needed to be dredged, they should have done that before the hurricane. The negligence from the city and the contractors led to what happened to our homes. It was 9 neighbors' houses that were damaged, nearly destroyed, and every one of our vehicles. There were 13 vehicles on our road that were totaled by insurance. We're just looking for the city to do the right thing and to help us with guidance and a way to repair our homes. You know, we're in a non-flood area. We don't have flood insurance. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Next speaker is Michelle Wilson.
Good evening, Mayor and City Commission. Today, my name is Michelle Wilson, and I'm a St. Petersburg College student. I am in the Public Policy and Administration program, and today I just wanted to share with you a project that I have been working diligently on this whole entire semester. It's with my capstone class that I've been working. So it's a feasibility study on crossing guard shelter boxes. This inspiration came to me from when I went up to upstate New York, and we were driving around in the beautiful countryside of it, and there's these lovely, beautiful architectures of school buildings, and right next was like these little wooden shelters. They look like sentry boxes, like the ones that you would see in England with the really cool guards that are standing inside of them. So I was like, this is actually neat, because initially I was going to go for the capstone project, something with Dunedin, because I went to Dunedin Middle and High School where we used to have a tattoo, but I was like, let's do something for people that are the underdog of our community, which is the crossing guards. So I brought that back with me, and to start with it, I was researching and seeing like where areas in this country that, you know, do this as well. And I mean, I was calling upstate New York asking about them, and they thought I was crazy when I was trying to ask about this. And so then I found a really neat little village. It's called Poinet, Wisconsin, and they have a ironworks company that created 2 of these boxes that they put out for their community, where their crossing guards now use since 2021, and they were actually donated through them by repurposed those bins that the dumpster bins basically, and they were cute. They looked like London-style phone booths, and that was because the lady there that I spoke to, her name was JJ, on the phone, came back from a trip, and she thought that would have been a great idea for them. They have tempered glass, and you know, and ever since it's kept the man inside, you know, nice and temperature, like heated from the snow. So I was thinking maybe we should have that here in Florida because of, you know, especially with how hot and how awful, you know, the rain situation has been. So I did a survey out on Largo community on Facebook, and they told me that a very amazing, like, welcoming to to idea, and so that led me to go into other people in the community of Largo. Two particular people. One was Sergeant Dolsky, who's out there in the crowd with us today, and then Officer Quattlebaum. They were amazing. They told me that, there's these different frameworks that they work with, especially the crime prevention through environmental design framework, where that, allows you to, just to let you know.
Thank you. Well, go ahead, finish the sentence.
Okay. I also got to speak with the planning manager, Alicia Parinella. She was amazing too, helping me with the recommendations on using for dual purposes and zoning and ordinances, because the idea too is not only are these going to be meant for keeping the crossing guards nice and, safe under the sun or through weather, they're also going to be visibility situations where, like I stood out on the corner of East Bay and Highland.
I got to cut you off, but thank you so much.
Yeah.
I'm sure that with the names that you mentioned, we'll continue this conversation and
All right, thank you.
hopefully work towards that.
Have a good rest of your day.
Okay, that's all the cards.
And I know that, I think that Mr. Ortiz and Mr. Tucker left, who spoke about the Church Creek area. I know you don't have the answers right now, but much like some of the other drainage issues that we've had recently with the recent storms, could we get a report as to what's going on over there with the project that's been going on and what the plan is to help prevent something like this from happening in the future for those folks, please?
Yes, Mayor, and just by the way, we do have a neighborhood meeting coming up, I believe, next week. We have a letter went out this week for a neighborhood meeting in the beginning of December to help those residents with issues they may be having.
Very good, and I think that was sent to the commission already, is that correct?
I believe so.
If not, yeah, thank you. Thank you. Next up is approval of tonight's agenda.
I'd like to pull 26, move approval.
And 18.
And 18.
Was 20 and 18?
26
26.
and 18.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes 7-0. Next is consideration of the minutes from the regular meeting of October 15th, 2024.
Move approval.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes 7-0. Could I hear the consent docket, please?
Item 8, appointment of vice mayor. Item 9, reappointments of members to various advisory boards whose terms will expire in November 2028. Item 10, award of RFQ number 24-B-814, City of Largo Train Shed Building Project to Qualis General Contractors LLC for construction in the amount of $1,082,605.75 and an owner contingency of $162,391 for an estimated total amount of $1,244,996.75. Item 11, authorization to expend federal forfeiture funds to purchase an on-site computer server for digital evidence storage from Dell Incorporated through Flagler Technologies in accordance with contract number 43210-000-23-NASPO-ACS-FL in the total amount of $164,500. Item 12, approval of the interlocal agreement with Pinellas County for the development of the analysis of impediments to fair housing. Item 13, authorization to purchase one Ford Hybrid Interceptor replacement vehicle for the police department from Duval Ford in the estimated amount of $59,700 in accordance with the Bradford County Sheriff's Association Contract 22-27-1.0. Item 14, authorization to purchase 32 replacement vehicles for the police department from Duval Ford in the estimated amount of $1,984,800 in accordance with the Bradford County Sheriff's Contract BCSO 22-27-1.0. Item 15, authorization to purchase 2 replacement detective hybrid vehicles for the police department from Seminole Toyota in the estimated amount of $70,800 in accordance with the Florida Sheriff's Association Contract number FSA 24-BEL32.0. Item 16, authorization to purchase police vehicle radio equipment from Motorola Radio Solutions in the estimated amount of $206,000. Item 17, authorization to purchase library materials, including books, non-print materials, and related ancillary services from Baker and Taylor Incorporated and Midwest Tape Incorporated in the estimated amount of $375,000 in accordance with Florida State Contract number 5500-0000-23-NY-ACS. Item 19, authorization to purchase garbage carts, recycling carts, and cart replacement parts from Ray Rig Pacific Company in accordance with the Omnia Partners Master Intergovernmental Cooperative Purchasing Agreement and Miami-Dade County Contract Number 00254 in the estimated amount of $61,840. Item 20, authorization to purchase ammunition from Florida Bullet Incorporated for use in police department weapons in the estimated amount of $75,300. Item 21, authorization to become a participant of the Pinellas County Purchasing Cooperative, number 178-0406-P, parentheses RW, for access to disaster recovery management consulting services. Item 22, approval of the scope and fee for professional design and engineering services for structural rehabilitation and improvements of the McGowan Nature Park Boardwalk and Pier by Pinoni in accordance with the Professional Services Agreement, RFQ number 24-Q-798, in the estimated amount of $202,050. Item 23, authorization to purchase managed print services from Total Print/Dex Imaging in accordance with contract 441-000-24-NASPO-ACS in the estimated amount of $138,100. Item 24, authorization to renew a continuing services contract with Workday in the amount of $2,778,972. Item 25, authorization to purchase 2 replacement automated side loaders for the Department of Public Works Solid Waste Division from Florida Kenworth in accordance with the Florida Sheriff's Association contract number FSA 23-VEH21.1 in the estimated amount of $938,716.70.
Thank you. For the consent docket, I'll entertain a motion.
I move to approve the consent docket without commission discussion and including staff background provided in the commission packets.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes 7-0. Item number 18, I'm not sure who pulled what.
Me.
Commissioner Smith.
Thank you. Sorry to throw you under the bus.
We don't have a bus.
That's true. So I've liked working with y'all for the last couple of years. I'd like to know the future, where we're going with the new leadership we have in Tallahassee that just got sworn in. We've kind of got direction, both of them, of where they're looking at going for the next, their leadership. I'd also like to know what are we going to kind of get out of this a little bit more than what we've got. I mean, I know we've gotten, from Representative Bernie Jacques, we got the appropriation for the $300,000 for the restroom. What are we looking at past just kind of, knowing we're going into a session that's probably going to be dealing with housing and flood insurance and those kind of items and FEMA? What's the direction of Ballard Partners going to be directing us with our assistance of what things we're looking for? Because I think more flood insurance or flood issues are kind of a direction we should be looking at, and those. So I'm just curious of your expertise.
Absolutely. Thank you, Commissioners. My name is Anna Cruz. I'm the managing partner for Ballard Partners in the Tampa Bay office. We are your Tallahassee and state and federal lobbyists, and we take direction from you. You all set the agenda as it relates to your state and federal priorities, and have worked very closely with Chris and his team in helping to carry out some of your agenda up in Tallahassee and federally. I can tell you that as it relates to your question regarding the direction from the incoming Senate President and the incoming Speaker of the House, President Ben Albritton, and I'm glad that I actually have these in my notes and prepared. His main focus for the next upcoming session will be on insurance, particularly as it relates to hurricane-impacted areas, focus on rate stabilization and claim denial, rural renaissance to support innovation and investment in new technology that expands to education, healthcare, and commerce, transportation, and agricultural supply chain, water to protect our water and our ecosystems, and through developing and advancing solutions to rid Florida's waterways from excessive nutrient, urban runoff, septic tanks, stormwater, and any other source harmful to nature. Renewed data-driven focus on water, fresh, accurate data to drive solutions for the future. Leverage new data and technology to improve outcomes. For Speaker Danny Perez, he kept his remarks rather brief, and really didn't choose 2 or 3 priorities. But we know that his focus will be on, again, insurance, home ownership, supporting small businesses, and focus on the equality of opportunity. Floridians want to pick their own doctors and send their children to good schools, so more choice for Florida residents is one of his overarching tenures, and he will come out with a more detailed set of priorities as these upcoming committee weeks emerge to the next session.
Okay. To follow up on that, now what we're pushing a little bit more, I know Chris will probably get more in the weeds or into the depth of that later on when we're going on things that we're on. I've always tried to talk about more relation building where we can. What different ways can we, through y'all, leverage y'all to get us better funding from Tallahassee and federal, from Tallahassee with our congresswoman?
Absolutely, and in large part, it's us working together and better understanding what the threshold for your federal and state agendas are relative to what that ask should be. We certainly don't want you to ask for a project that's $50,000 when they normally fund it at, $250 or $500. Or maybe even $1 million. It depends on where their leadership priorities align with your state and federal priorities as well. Senator Albritton has laid out his agenda and where the items that he cares about. So we will sit and go through your legislative priorities as we head into this next year and make sure that they dovetail with what the priorities of the Senate and the House are, so that we can better align or align our asks properly.
We know that resiliency, for obvious reasons, is going to be a top issue, and so you'll see our proposed appropriations request aligned with that focus.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner DeBreeze.
Very quickly, would you agree that the realignment of the committee structure and the speaker's message is a signal that there's going to be pulling back of member projects?
I'm not certain that, there's a lot of negotiating that happens up in Tallahassee and oftentimes behind closed doors. I should probably say that publicly, but with that being said, I'm not certain what his intentions are about pulling back on member projects. I can say that is in large part how a lot of funding happens for cities like yourselves and associations and nonprofits. So it's certainly not a popular stand across the board and either party, but I think that we probably remains to be seen, to be honest with you.
Thank you.
It was probably a long way to answer that question. My apologies.
I think I had a question, and this might be Chris. When is for either of you on the dates, but when do committees start? When does the session start, and when do we expect to see sort of work on our legislative priorities for this coming year, and so we can get in front of it and talk to folks while they're still here?
So the proposed legislative agendas will be on the work session agenda in December, and then committees will start up in January, and the start of the session will be March 4th.
Cool. Thank you.
I move to approve a renewal term, let me read it correctly. I don't have my glasses. The agreement between the City of Largo, yours are probably worse than mine. Ballard Partner, Inc., for state and federal advocacy services in the estimated amount of $120,000 for a 2-year period pursuant to RFP number 22-P-735.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes 7-0. Thank you. We'll see you in Tallahassee at the
Thank you. Yes, sir.
Next, item number 26, Vice Mayor Holmes.
Thank you. This is an easy one. I was reading this thing, and I read it and read it and read it, and I'm going, is this new money that we are attaching to the construction of the building? Or part of this reads as a change order, part of it reads as, this is part of the initial contract, I think, was $81 million. I'm rounding that off. You could read this thing one way, and that comes out at $84,650,000, or was this just part of the draw?
This is not new money. This was the same funds that we spoke over in June at the work session.
Okay.
It does read as a change order.
It's part of the draw, then?
It is part of the draw, correct.
What is the total cost on this building now?
Total cost. The initial bonds were issued at $62 million.
Yeah.
There was an additional,
It was initial 20 and change.
$23 million.
23.
383.
So you got 62 and 23. Anything else?
The total funds would be 83,383,967.
Is that on top of the Mr. Zimmett's legal fee that was recently paid?
The legal fees were paid prior to, when we calculate the legal fees, those were paid prior to the construction of the project.
Okay.
When you figure
So
those
this
costs in.
this says change order, but actually it was just part of the draw. Same.
It
That's
is.
all. That was the only questions I had.
Commissioner Johnson has a question.
This is more of a point of order. I forgot to fill out an abstention form with Diane, but I'm a minority partner on a company that's doing some work on the city hall that we were awarded before I was elected, so I need to abstain from this vote, so.
Thank you. Any other questions?
I'll vote for you.
Okay.
I move to approve change order number 7 to RFQ number 20-Q-698 with Biltmore Construction Company for the Horizon Construction Project in the amount of $3,650,000.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes 6-0 with Commissioner Johnson abstaining. I did want to just mention on the consent docket, we reappointed various members to advisory. This isn't for you guys. You can go. Thank you. Well, we reappointed folks to various advisory boards, and I always like to read those names because those people give a lot of time and effort on behalf of the City of Largo. And so Mr. Eric Eifert to the Planning Board, Beverly Jean Gatewood to the Community Development Advisory Board, Ms. Roxana Marsh to the Code Enforcement Board, Ms. Sue Porter to the Parks and Arts Advocacy Board, and she does a lot with VIPs as well. Ms. Bertha Battle, who is on the Library Advocacy Board, and on my list is also thanking Commissioner Holmes for serving as Vice Mayor this year, so thank you. Moving on to item number 27.
Good evening, Mayor and City Commission. The item before you is a second reading of ordinance number 2024-40, a future land use map amendment proposing to amend the land use classification of the property located at 2565 Haynes Bay Shore Road. The subject property occupies approximately 1.12 acres and is currently classified as residential low on the City of Largo future land use map. The applicant is seeking an amendment to commercial general to expand the existing Quality Boats dealership located immediately west of the subject site. Here's an aerial of the amendment area with the subject property outlined in red. Here's the current and future land use map with the subject property outlined in black. And here's the proposed future land use map reflecting the commercial general classification. A development agreement was processed in conjunction with this amendment to restrict the use of the property to uses associated with boats, boat sales, or boat storage, and set aside a 5-foot dedicated easement for the expansion of the Pinellas Trail. The agreement was heard and approved by the City Commission on June 18, 2024, by a vote of 6-1. This case was heard before and approved with unanimous support by the Ford Pinellas Planners Advisory Committee, Ford Pinellas Board in its role as the Pinellas Planning Council, and the Countywide Planning Authority. There have been no changes since the proposed ordinance was heard before the City Commission and recommended for approval upon first reading. If approved by the City Commission, the amendment would be transmitted to the Florida Department of Commerce for a courtesy review and would take effect on December 20th, 2024. Staff recommend approval and are available for any questions. Thank you.
Ordinance number 2024-40, an ordinance of the City of Largo, Florida, amending the City of Largo Comprehensive Plan Future Land Use Map by amending the classification of the within described tract of land located at 2565 Haynes Bay Shore Road from residential low, parentheses RL, to commercial general, parentheses CG, consistent with the City of Largo Comprehensive Plan, amending the future land use map on file in the office of the city clerk pursuant to the provisions of Chapter 163, Part 2, Florida statutes, and the Pinellas Countywide Plan rules, providing for severability and providing for an effective date.
Thank you. Do we have any cards on this?
We have no cards.
Thank you. Do you know if we've had any community input since first reading to you guys that you're aware of?
Not that I'm aware of. There were a couple questions by the boards before the county, but none from the public.
Okay, thank you.
I move to adopt ordinance number 2024-40 on second and final reading.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes 7-0. Thank you. Next is item number 28, ordinance, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Okay, well, hello again. The item before you is a second reading of ordinance number 2024-41, a future land use map amendment proposing to amend the land use classification of the property located at 3950 East Bay Drive from residential office general and commercial general to commercial general. The subject property occupies approximately 1.46 acres and is located north of East Bay Drive and west of Belcher Road. It is currently developed with an approximately 12,580 square foot building occupied by a Verizon retail store. Here's the current future land use map with the subject property outlined in black. And here's the proposed future land use map reflecting the commercial general classification on the whole property. This case was also heard before the Ford Pinellas Planners Advisory Committee, Ford Pinellas Board, in its role as the Pinellas Planning Council, and the Countywide Planning Authority with unanimous support for approval. There have been no changes since the proposed ordinance was heard before the City Commission and recommended for approval upon first reading on July 2nd, 2024. If approved by the Commission, the amendment would be transmitted to the Florida Department of Commerce. Staff recommend approval and are available for any questions. Thank you.
Ordinance number 2024-41, an ordinance of the City of Largo, Florida, amending the City of Largo Comprehensive Plan Future Land Use Map classification of the within described tract of land located at 3950 East Bay Drive from commercial general, parentheses CG, and residential office general, parentheses R/OG, to commercial general, parentheses CG, consistent with the City of Largo Comprehensive Plan, amending the city future land use map on file in the office of the city clerk pursuant to the provisions of Chapter 163, Part 2, Florida statutes, and the Pinellas Countywide Plan rules, providing for severability and providing an effective date.
Thank you. Do we have any cards on this?
We have no cards.
Same question. Have you had any input that you know of since first reading?
No input.
Thank you.
I move to adopt ordinance 2024-41 on second and final reading.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes 7-0. Thank you. Next up is item number 29.
Okay, hello again. The items before you propose to amend the City of Largo Code of Ordinances and Comprehensive Development Code to update standards related to the regulation of alcohol. The amendments updated required distance separations in accordance with state statutes, corrected minor inconsistencies between the two codes, and added Ulmer Park and Horizon West Bay as locations in which alcohol can be sold for consumption on premises. These amendments were approved on first reading with a vote of 5-0 by the City Commission on October 1st. No changes have been made since first reading, and staff recommend approval of ordinance numbers 2024-43 and 2025-03. Staff are available for any questions. Thank you.
Ordinance number 2024-43, an ordinance of the City of Largo, Florida, amending the City of Largo Comprehensive Development Code by amending Tables 6-1 and 6-2 to reflect the amended distance separation requirements for establishments selling alcoholic beverages set forth in the City Code of Ordinances by amending Sections 15.13 and Section 15.14 regarding distance separation requirements for microbreweries, microdistilleries, and regional breweries, and providing for conditional use approval of shorter distance separations from religious institutions, providing for applicability, providing severability, and providing for an effective date.
Thank you. Do we have any cards?
We have no cards on this one.
Thank you. Vice Mayor Holmes.
Thank you. Seeing as Ryan is still here, Mr. Mayor, can I ask the police department to come up? I got a question for them.
Sure.
Come on, Ryan. Be brave. There's two items here. There's item 29 and item 30. 30 is the amending the ordinance where you can, the sale of alcohol and consumption on premise is permitted. And this one here, this is the amendment for the comprehensive code for update alcohol distance separation. What's the opinion of the police department on these two?
Well, the downtown Largo, Horizon project's important to the police department as well. So if that means restaurants that need to serve alcohol in that section, that's why the code needs to get changed. As for the other one, I'm not sure what the statute actually changed to, so I'm unable to comment on that.
Okay, when we get to it, then we'll ask you. Thank you.
Yes.
I move to adopt ordinance number 2024-43 on second and final reading.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes 7-0. Next is number 30, ordinance 2025-03.
There have been no changes since first reading, and staff recommend approval.
Ordinance number 2025-03, an ordinance of the City of Largo, Florida, amending the City of Largo Code of Ordinances, Chapter 4, Alcoholic Beverages by amending Sections 4-1, 4-2, and 4-3 to amend the distance separation requirement from establishments that sell alcoholic beverages from schools, by authorizing the sale of alcoholic beverages for consumption on premises at Horizon West Bay and Ulmer Park, by providing microbreweries, microdistilleries, and regional breweries located within the community development districts an option to reduce the required distance separation from religious institutions through a conditional use procedure to eliminate the required separation requirement in the community redevelopment districts between establishments possessing a 4-COP alcohol license, providing for severability, to create Section 4-4 to establish definitions, providing an effective date.
Thank you. Do we have any cards on this?
I have one card for this one. Matt Faustini.
Good evening, all. Promise I'll be short. I just wanted to share, because sometimes it feels like what we're doing in downtown Largo is new. And I found a quote from 1997, and I think it really is something we need to share with our community, because this has been work of commissions of 30-plus years. And it's an article. The article says, "Renovation Plan Will Let Largo Find Its Look." And it's by Jack Reed, published July 20th, 1997, in the St. Petersburg Times. And they were talking about redevelopment on West Bay. And the St. Petersburg Times reporter asked the City of Largo the following question: when you say create something different, what do you mean? On all the land around Central Park, we want to create an entertainment district. Restaurants, boutiques, anything that would be entertainment related. We have thousands of people coming to Central Park and going to the theater, but if they want to go to dinner, where do they go? Not around here. We want to have a natural tie-in between restaurants and the theaters. On Bay Drive, from Missouri and Seminole Boulevard intersection all the way out to Pinellas Trail, we want to allow for residential, office, and retail, or any mixed use. and use the Largo City Hall site, which will have frontage or front on West Bay Drive as the anchor. I'm not talking about strip shopping centers. And I think that quote sums up exactly where we're heading today. And we've been on that mission for a long time. And this ordinance is a part of it. I just wanted to share that because I think sometimes when we're adopting, we forget how long it takes us sometimes to get to where we're at. Thank you all.
Thank you. Any questions from the commission?
I move to adopt ordinance number 2025-03 on second and final reading.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes 7-0.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next is ordinance number 2025-06.
Good evening again, Commissioners and Mayor. The city's team member employment guidelines are a set of personnel rules that the Commission governs per the city charter. Revisions must be approved by the City Commission. In summary, the revisions include grammar and format cleanup, expanding approval authority to include the assistant city managers, codifying paid time off and short-term disability, and clarification of current practices. The revisions were approved at first reading on October 15th, 2024, 7-0. No changes since first reading, and I'm available to answer any questions you may have.
Ordinance number 2025-06, an ordinance of the City of Largo, Florida, amending the City of Largo team member employment guidelines, repealing all ordinances in conflict herewith, and providing an effective date.
Thank you. Do we have any cards on this?
We have no cards.
Any questions?
Move to adopt ordinance 2025-06 on second and final reading.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes 7-0. Thank you very much. Next up is, I lost my agenda, the next item.
32.
I know it's yours. 32.
Me again. The city has a collective bargaining agreement with the Communication Workers of America and has agreed to amend the contract to allow for an update to the Recreation, Parks, and Arts Team Member Recognition Program. The update reflects the current practice, which has greater impact and engagement and is agreeable by the union. Staff is available for any questions.
Thank you. Do we have any cards on this?
We have no cards.
Any questions from the commission? Let me see, Commissioner Smith.
Out of curiosity, what was the kind of dialogue between CWA, receptive, I'm assuming, and did they have any, like, yay or okay? Or I'm one of those kind of people. So.
Yay or okay?
I'm a city employee, you know. It's just,
The recognition program was initially established and included in the contract many years ago. It has evolved over time, and so the amendment to the contract is really just codifying what's already been happening over the
Okay.
last couple of years. So it's just amending it to be current practice.
okay. All right.
Make the motion.
I thought he was going to do it.
I move to approve the memorandum of understanding between the City of Largo and the Communication Workers of America, updating the Recreation, Parks, and Arts Team Members Recognition Program, effective October 1, 2024.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes 7-0. Thank you. Next up is item number 33. I believe that's me. And as you all know, it's actually, some of you probably read this recently, but each year we do a evaluation performance on the city manager. We did two kind of consecutively because we had a contracted early one, and this was for the annual review. And going forward, it'll coincide with the fiscal year, so it'll be a lot more seamless for proposed any pay raise or anything. So as you can see on the paperwork, the average overall score was 2.88 out of 3.0, which is meets to exceeds expectations. And my recommendation to the commission is to give Mr. Kerp a equivalent raise as a non-represented, which is 2%, and that's what's in the budget. If there's any questions, I'd be happy to field them. Commissioner Smith.
Comment, I didn't change my score from the last time. I think 3 months is kind of too short of time for me to change my score, so I kind of stuck with the same thing. I didn't write any kind of comments because I stuck with them on the first one. I've talked to the city manager about my views on the budget, and I'd like to learn a little bit more about the way direction that he and communication-wise with me about budget issues that have come up that I've had some concerns with. I do have a question relating to the First Amendment to the agreement. The Section 1, it talks about moving over PTO policy beginning at 6 years of service. What is that? What is that? I'm trying to wrap my head around that a little bit as a second, or finishing up a first-year contract, and we're jumping to 6 years as a PTO.
So I might lean on the human resources folks to go into that a little bit, but and I don't remember exactly where the initial contract was negotiated to, but typically in professional positions like this, there is some consideration given to their experience in the field where as it relates to PTO. We don't bring in experienced folks into this type of a position and give them the 2 weeks that a brand new person, fresh starting out would get. And I think that's essentially where we are with this.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, that's correct. When Mr. Kerp initially joined the city, the contract stated that he would be accruing, at the time was vacation and sick leave. And he came in at a higher negotiated rate than a first-year employee, which is exactly, the rationale that the mayor had relayed. So when we switched over to PTO, he was essentially accruing, as of last year, a 5-year tenured employee's PTO rate. So when you combined vacation and sick and matched it up with the new PTO, it would be at the 5-year mark. And then the rationale was to add, since he's been here a year now, to bump it up to 6. So he'd be accruing PTO as a 6-year tenured employee.
Okay. All right.
And so to be clear, all of the non-represented employees have switched to PTO, so we're not separate buckets of time, right?
That's correct, yes.
Any other questions?
I move to approve the employment contract amendment and salary increase for the city manager, John Kerr.
Second. I have a motion and a second. Vice Mayor Holmes, did you have a question?
Well, yeah, it was more of a comment on it because I had a sit-down with the city manager, and I said, I was giving the fractional scores on this thing, and I just
There was a lot of numbers in some of those.
Oh, yeah, there's a lot. I had several of them. I had a couple of zeros after the decimal point. But anyway, I told him at the time that I think I have never liked the scoring system that we have. And I've told him point blank, and I will stand by it. If I have something to tell him, I'll tell him to his face, and that's it. I don't really understand, the merit of this thing here. It's inaccurate, and then you have some people that they're just going to be gun shy about, I can't say anything bad about city manager. Well, that's too bad. I'd say it to his face, and he'd say it to mine, which I would expect that. But anyway, that is merely my opinion. I just, I didn't even scribble any notes on this thing. I just put, that looks like, it's a 2.005, what the heck. But I think we should change this thing. That's my opinion.
But I appreciate that, and I appreciate your specificity in your numbers. But I will say, a couple of years ago, we went down the rabbit hole of redesigning this, and we have to do something. We have to do some type of analysis. We're not going to spend a work session on it. And I think that you really want to be able to give your opinion independently. And I think this is a relatively decent way to do that. And to your point as well, if there's a challenge that I have with the city manager, I address that directly with the city manager. And to Commissioner Smith's point, I didn't expect these would be a whole lot different than the one that was just before, but I guarantee you have a year until the next time we have to, the next time we're reviewing the city manager's performance. But everybody up here knows that we review the city manager's performance with them weekly, right? So continue to do that, and thank you for all you've done in the first year.
Yeah, well, he came by my house and I offered him a rake and he wouldn't take it.
Never mind. We're not going to get into that. So I do have a motion and a second, is that correct?
Yes.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed?
No.
Motion passes 6-1. Thank you. Next is item number 34.
Good evening, Mayor and Commissioners. This item is for a construction contract for a DOT grant-funded portion of the Rosary Road Complete Streets project, which technically we could have had this in consent, but it's a good opportunity for staff to update you on Rosary Road. So I'd like to start with an overview of the Rosary Road Complete Streets project. What you see on the screen here shows Rosary Road broken into two components. The first in green represents Phase 1, which the construction for that was completed in 2021. This evening we'll be talking a little bit about Rosary Road Phase 2. You see at the top of the screen, Rosary Road Complete Streets. Complete Streets, you know, the commission knows Complete Streets as community streets early on. That's the way they were designated in the multimodal plan, supported by the commission and supported by the public. So what is a complete street? A road running through right-of-way all by itself is not a complete street. A complete street is constructed for all users, so it takes into account motorists, but it's also constructed for people walking, rolling, and cycling. The intent behind the Rosary Road Community Streets project, now Complete Streets project, was to create a multi-use path, a connection for people walking and cycling to get from the Pinellas Trail to Eagle Lake Park. The county has very few places where there is good bike and pedestrian east-west movement. So Rosary Road is really a significant accomplishment for the city. So with respect to Rosary Road Phase 2, you see that's the blue part on the screen there. It's basically from the Walmart truck entrance to Eagle Lake Park. So Ralph, if you wouldn't not mind putting up the other. So design for this part of the Rosary Road project was completed earlier this summer. This particular construction contract is for construction of a multi-use path on the south side of Rosary Road from Paradise Lane, which is basically the Long Bayou Creek, the bridge there kind of at the low spot, from there to Eagle Lake Park. Those are the project limits. Construction of multi-use path on the south side of Rosary Road and widened sidewalk on the north side of Rosary Road. So why two contracts? In 2019, the city received a Complete Streets construction grant from Forward Pinellas. The grant is administered by the Florida DOT under what's called the LAP program, Local Agency Program. So if I refer to LAP, that's what it is. That's the program under which DOT administers grant funding. Staff, there are some overhead costs associated with a LAP grant. Although net, it's a good deal for the city. It's about $1 million grant. But because of those overhead costs, staff broke the construction contract into two parts. This LAP, the grant-funded part, and then the city part. This item tonight is for the LAP-funded part, so it's a little over $2 million. So the other project, the city project, is going to be constructed by our construction manager at risk, our CMAR, Nelson Construction. They are working on a guaranteed maximum price proposal for us, and we are hoping we will bring that other city construction project part to the commission in the second meeting in December. So we're well on track for construction. I do just want to point out that the design was based on community engagement. We had a public meeting in July of 2023 and solicited public feedback. This construction contract, if approved by the City Commission, we will award notice to proceed to the contractor in February of 2025. The two projects are kind of end to end, so they can be constructed at the same time. We're working with our CMAR on making sure that we have good seamless construction out there. We don't have a construction start date for the city project, but it is coming very soon, should we get approval from the City Commission on that city project in the second commission meeting in December. I hope that was clear. Staff is available for questions.
Thank you. Do we have any cards on this?
We have no cards.
Commissioner Smith.
Thank you for this. I was kind of on forward. Pinellas was kind of the one who cried to a point to get this funding, put it back into their budget, and said how people were crossing it about to get an accident there. So I was happy that the board at the time took my advice a little bit and awarded us this funding. Is this the second project, correct, that we've done LAP certification for? Am I correct? What have we learned from this LAP certification, and should we in the future learn more about it? Or, I mean, we're getting $980,000. Is it worth this kind of headache, or like I say, I'm kind of curious, did we proceed with this kind of way of going, or is it more difficult?
I would like to ask Assistant Engineering Services Director Ralph Seislak to respond to that, since he was the project manager for the first LAP project.
Thank you. The first project that we had with that was LAP certified was back in 2016, Pinellas Trail Overhead Project, and it was a success. I think that, yes, it is worth the effort. There's a lot of time put forth to prepare for it, go through the certification process, be project specific. Ultimately, we're building that relationship. We're getting funds to help connect our neighborhoods and develop projects like this, so yes.
Okay. And what projects have we done with this company? The what other projects have we done with them? I'm trying to think off the top of my head.
Best to just abbreviate K&R.
Okay, KR, there we go.
But Ralph Mr. Seislak will address that also.
So we've had a long history with K&R over the years. About 5 years ago, they completed a drainage project between Pinellas Trail and Clear Largo Road.
Okay.
And then more recently, they've been working with us on several of our manhole emergency repairs.
Okay, that's where I recognize it. Okay. And then one last thing, I will say thank you for commenting. I was at a meeting this weekend, and an engineer spoke and said that public speaking was never taught in engineering school. So thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Hulk.
Yes, so I'm excited about this project, except for at one point, so phase 3, there is a phase 3, correct, from Keene?
Yes.
When, if ever, is the start date for that? Because I know at a meeting, there were people here from that area that were told that this 2025 date was a start date for that part of Rosary. There was a meeting that was set up, but Colleen had some other ideas for that neighborhood. But I know tomorrow, anybody who sees this meeting is going to be calling me and saying, I thought that was our start date, and for that particular part of Rosary, and they're going to see this and know that it's not, that it's phase 2, which is what we're talking about now. But I need something, some kind of start date.
Thank you for that question, Commissioner Hulk. That does bring out a very good point. The third phase is on the other side of Eagle Lake Park, the east side of Eagle Lake Park. That is approaching 60% design now. So for the folks that live on that part of Rosary Road and the neighborhood, they can be assured that that construction is coming. In terms of a construction start date, can't really be certain on that. We do need to complete the design, but I can assure you the design is progressing without delay. And staff will be happy to continue to provide updates on that project.
I appreciate that if something could be sent to that area, because since the storms, it's obviously even worse than it was before. That road is, it's horrible, yes. The drainage, there's still water in the road. So we're really looking forward to this rain tomorrow, because what has gone away will be back. But yes, I mean, you know, this has been on the schedule since, I think originally was like 2019, and it just keeps getting bumped. So it's real hard for that area to understand these other two areas that were done prior to that street. But 60% is better than, I think the last number we got was 30% design, so. But I just wanted some information to pass on tomorrow, or when I get home tonight, when my phone starts ringing. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. I have a couple questions. First, do you have a picture of the final design of the project with you now? Other than the, orange line and blue line?
I do on my computer.
Okay.
I'd be really challenged to get it on.
That's okay. But it's essentially the design that we last saw and last approved. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay. And second, I mean, I read this as if K&R is going to be working on the orange and Nelson is going to be working on the blue. Is that correct? Flip that. So how confident are we that they're going to be kind of working at the same time? Because it's going to obviously cause some challenges and headaches for the people that live in that area temporarily. The product is going to be worth the challenges, but I want to make sure that we don't have Nelson on site for 6 months and then they starting to wrap up and then K&R gets in there. How's that going to be orchestrated?
So the benefit of a CMAR delivery method is we have, much better opportunity to work with our construction contractor, Nelson Construction. We have already had conversations with them in terms of construction coordination. And it's our intent to have, when we start construction, can't say that Nelson Construction is going to start, exactly the same time K&R does. But when we have a road closure, it's going to be a seamless road closure. And to the extent we can manage it, it's not going to be, we close the road, we open it up for 3 months, we close it again. So we want to make sure that we have good harmonized construction schedules to make sure that the neighborhood feels as little pain as possible.
Thank you. And lastly, when we were a little bit farther to the west on this road doing that project, there were some cut-throughs that were created because the road was being worked on and people were flying down Betty Lane or whatever it was, and we deployed some temporary speed control devices because there was neighborhoods that were now kind of thoroughfares. My request is, can we please pay attention to any cut-through patterns that are developed and maybe put out some, we just put speed bumps out in some of those roads where there was way more cars than typical. So Can we please pay attention to that?
Most certainly, yes.
Commissioner Holk?
Yes, just one more quick question. Since Eric Gerard's not here to ask this, but is there still a plan for a roundabout at the Lake and Rosary?
There is.
Okay. Eric, are you listening? You got it. You win. Thank you.
He's rewinding. Did I just hear that? I hope he's not watching this. Actually, I hope he is. Thank you. Any other questions from the commission?
I move to approve award of contract number 24B801 Rosary Road from Walmart truck entrance to Eagle Lake Park to Kaminga, is that how you pronounce it? And Rootvost, good German one, in the amount of $2,150,070 and an owner contingency of $325,508.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes 7-0. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next up is item number 35.
Good evening, Mayor and Commission. I'm Shelby. I'm the Utilities Director, and I am here to talk about recycling, but also want to introduce John Benton, our new solid waste manager. John joined us on September 16th, and just as a reminder, Helene hit us September 26th. So
It's his fault.
he hit the ground running.
2 back-to-back hurricanes, so.
Yes, and he's still here.
And I'm still here.
Thankfully. So we recently, as requested, we are here to update the commission on our recycling costs. So there are historic costs shown in this slide. So we recently bid out our recycling, and we are selecting a new vendor for the next 5 years. The low bidder was Recycle Services of Florida at $568,425 for a year. The slide represents the trending costs in recycling. The FY25 costs are estimated, and as some of you recall, the numbers in red were profit years. So there was a year where recycling was profitable, but in 2023, that did change. In 2024, shifted a tiny bit in our favor, but in 2025, we do continue to have costs for our recycling. And there are 2 parts of our recycling costs. So there is the processor fee, but there's also the market value. The market value is variable, and that is the profit that we see. So that's why you're seeing in FY22, that very high number actually did allow us to make money on recycling. But yes, we are generally trending with the market values, but we have chosen the low bidder, and we are available for questions about recycling.
Thank you. Do we have any cards on this?
I have one card, Greg Gardner.
This recycling stuff is really interesting. So it's going to be a story in the second edition. That's 6 months after the first. And as I've been running around to other cities, and it's not really a blame game, and it's not about fault. It's just about us as humans, and there's 2 elements to it. First, the average person is just uneducated. And if there's any editorial that goes to 65, it's got to be about education. What's recyclable, what isn't? But I met with one city. I won't mention this city specifically. They're over in Tampa, North Tampa. And they found that the most effective way was going back to bins, because people think those blue bins are for trash. People don't know what's recyclable. It's really interesting. And you talk to some of our city employees about this, and it's like, there's no win in this situation. But you have to have it. And but they went back to bins instead of the big old blue cans. And 2 people sorting out what's recyclable, what makes money, and what doesn't. And it's brought them back to cost neutral. That's all I wanted to share. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Any other questions? Do you know how many tons typically we have of recycling in a year?
Let's see, I think we are averaging maybe over the last 5 years, 5,500 tons.
So 5,500 tons.
Yes.
All right. Thank you. Commissioner Loud?
Yeah, so I just have a quick question. If we didn't pay the $500,000 a year to recycle, what would it cost us in added trash?
Recycling does cost more than disposing of as solid waste. The last time I looked, it was about double to recycle weight-wise than put it in solid waste. But the landfill is of course our concern, and we do need to protect the landfill's longevity.
I mean, I know it's not a popular opinion to, climate-wise to not recycle, but at what point does it become cost prohibitive is what I'm curious about.
I do understand. We did actually have the solid waste director from Pinellas County join us at a work session, I believe it was last February, and did go in detail about why recycle and the future of the landfill. I'm not sure if you want me to get into that level of detail now, but did review it.
No, that's fair enough. I understand. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Smith?
Kind of that, the life of the landfill kind of has been altered with the storm. We've now kind of seen or heard that it might decrease by significantly. So I see where they're kind of going and where we're looking at. If I remember correctly, I thought we did RFDIs on the bins. I could be wrong, where you could tell where high concentrations of contaminated non-recycling materials happening. Do we still do that, or am I incorrect on that?
We do have RFIDs on larger dumpsters, right?
Yes.
Not on every individual tote.
And we do have
And-
on totes.
Oh, we do? Oh,
Yes.
sorry. We do not survey the totes individually. If a driver does notice that there's a lot of contamination, we do send our code officer out. And the county actually did a study last year. They do some random selections of bins to see what the percentage is. I would have to look back at the report to see what our percentage was.
Okay, and what different educational tools are we going to try to do differently than what we've kind of done and it's not working? From what I see here, what can we do differently? I'm just curious.
So it's not, I guess I wouldn't blame the cost fully on a contamination rate. It's also the market value. If the market is saying we are not really seeing a reason to reuse the recyclables, or it's not profitable to reuse aluminum and try to reforge metals and plastics, that's really more of what we're seeing in the market value than the contamination. I believe our contamination rate was about equal with the rest of the counties, as you recall.
It's actually a little better than what's
It was
the
a little.
average, under 20%. So if you remember back 20 years ago, the mix of material was newspaper and glass. Today, it's cardboard from shipping cartons and plastic. Fortunately, plastic comes in several different grades, both high temp, low melt, high melt. So the market is really fragmented right now on how to recycle all this plastic and this material, which is driving down the markets right now. So that's where we're at with this. Unfortunately, I would like to come here and say, yeah, we're going to make a lot of money and we'll be in the black in no time, but unfortunately, the markets are what they are. And I don't foresee an increase in those in the next 12 months.
Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner DeRisi.
Thank you, and you may not have the answer for this, and it's kind of a tie-in to Commissioner Smith's question. You mentioned 5,500 tons of recyclable. Do you have data that says for a city of our size if that's on par with what other cities are collecting, or less or more?
I would have to get back to you. But yes, we can look into population versus tonnage.
And that's something that's on my to-do list. We'll look at how many pounds per home, what are we generating per week and per month, so that we can look at who's participating. Is everybody putting their card out every week? Is it every other week, once a month? So we have the technology in the trucks, the vision software, to be able to calculate that. It's just, I've been knee-deep in debris. Sure.
Understood. Thank you.
Thank you. I think you touched on this. This is for a 5-year agreement, is that correct?
Correct.
Is that number flexible based on the market?
It is. It does change with the market, and actually, that's why I printed this out. The market value is based on the Southeast U.S. regional average commodity pricing, so it actually does come out monthly. So we are, that number can change based on the industry.
So this is essentially an estimate. It's a best guess, but it could be less, or it could be a little more, right?
Correct.
Okay. Thank you.
This is kind of a worst-case scenario, figuring all the tonnage that we collect, and then with the fingers crossed that markets do bounce back a little bit.
And as far as contamination, certainly the less contaminated stream is going to be more valuable. I think we've talked about this before, about how do we either educate folks a little bit better or maybe go back to bins or whatever. How do we make our recycling stream more pure, if you will? If cardboard's in a dumpster that's just for cardboard, it's kind of valuable as a recycling commodity. But when you've got pizza boxes and plastic bags and that type of stuff mixed into the stuff, it messes up the automation of the recycling plant and causes problems. It causes us to have to pay for recycling, right?
And I'll add, the gate at Starkey has made a massive difference. John wasn't here before the gate, but every Monday we would come back to just piles. We know what was placed outside of them. We don't know what people managed to get inside of them, but having that gate has been everything. Better lighting, and yeah, the help from the police department as well to track down people that we were able to find their license plate, and they did help as well.
So what percentage of our recycling is at Starkey? Is it 10%, or is it even smaller?
No, the bulk of the material comes off this curbside from residents.
Yeah.
That's a minor disposal site or drop-off site for residents. I do want to touch base on what you asked before. I came from St. Johns County, and we implemented a technology that residents could download on their phone, not only have service days, but also what is recyclable, to the point where you could take a picture of a water bottle or Dixie cup, whatever. It would tell you immediately that, yes, this is recyclable, or no, this isn't. So these are some of the technology advancements I've got knowledge of that I'd like to bring forward at a later date, but there's a number of tools out there that we can use other than print paper and the website. So.
Right. Yeah, it's good. Thank you.
Communications and Engagement also started the texting line as well, so that's been helpful.
Other questions?
All right, I move to approve a program recyclables processing contract with Recycling Services of Florida for a 5-year period in the estimated amount of $568,425 per year for a total estimated expenditure of $2,842,125.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
No.
Motion passes 6-1. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next is item number 36.
I wonder if we could ask the pizza places to start putting like paper underneath their pizzas so we can save some of those pizza boxes.
Oh, very good.
Because that's where all it is, it's the bottom of the box, right?
I like the pieces, please.
Parchment.
Parchment paper, yeah.
Good evening. My name is Cheryl Reed. I'm the Director of the Community Development Department, and we have for you this evening a revisiting of a proposed ordinance number 2024-47, outdoor social service events. And I have with me this evening Sergeant Dolsky, in case there are any questions that he might be the expert on. Those of you that have been on the commission may remember that this item was brought to you in the summer, in mid-June. We have made substantial changes, and we wanted to bring those changes back to you for consideration. We'd like to start with kind of really the purpose of why the ordinance was brought forward in the first place, and it really was to promote public health and safety for all the individuals in our community. We were concerned about the uncoordinated and potentially unsanitary provision of food and drinks and other personal care items that was happening primarily in public parks. And you'll see that we have narrowed the scope based on your feedback back in June. Also wanted to ensure, safety for all community members that are seeking to use the parks simultaneously with one another. And also really important that we continue to make sure that the individuals that groups may be seeking to serve are not put in a situation where unsafe food is being shared with them, or if anyone has any, not the best intent in terms of interacting with individuals in our community that are unhoused. So we really were concerned about the sanitary situation, and really felt that shelters, homeless shelters, food pantries, church organizations that have the proper facilities are really the spaces where these kinds of services should be provided to members in our community who may need them. So just to refresh your memory, the first reading was on June 18th, and as some of you may recall, there was extensive comment both from you all as well as from members of the public. So you'll see that if you've had a chance to review the ordinance, you'll see that we really have limited the scope of the ordinance. It is now focused solely on public parks that the city has control of. We've taken out all of the language that dealt with public rights of way, sidewalks. There were some concerns by some of the nonprofit organizations that sometimes their provision of services might extend beyond the, boundary lines of their property. So we have removed all of those. We've also eliminated the permit fees that would be, we will be asking, we're proposing, if you concur, that nonprofit organizations or community groups do go through a process to apply for a permit, so that we will know in advance, so that we can make plans. If we need to coordinate with the police department or the fire department, we have the ability to do that. But we would not be charging, we're proposing not to charge a fee for that permit. And then we also eliminated the restrictions on how frequently a community group or a nonprofit could host such a social service event in a public park. We did also engage with several nonprofit partners, both the Victor Newman Ministries and also Hydrate the Homeless. Those were two of the groups that were represented back in June when we brought forward the ordinance originally. And so in the intervening months, we have been coordinating with them and received their feedback on these proposed changes. And they did help us bring this proposed ordinance into alignment with some of the conversations that you all were having simultaneously. So I'd like to touch on what's not changing. So this ordinance does not have any impact on churches or nonprofits that are operating food pantries or any sort of food distribution that's happening at their physical locations. And there are no new additional permits that are required in order to host a social service event in a public park. What is changing is that we have, previously we had mentioned that city staff was proposing to not allow these kinds of events to happen at Largo Central Park and also the Nature Preserve. You will see in the ordinance that is in front of you this evening that we did want to add both McGow Nature Park and Bonner Park as well, so that would include all of the city's nature parks, just again because of the fragility of the ecosystems in those parks. And wanting to ensure that there are not large gatherings of individuals there that could impact the parks. As I mentioned, we do propose in the ordinance that there would be an outdoor social services event permit, and that the scope of this was a request of one of the, both of the groups that we talked with, was that we should define how many people we're talking about. So the ordinance that you have in front of you this evening does define that the group size would be 5 or more. If you're seeking to feed 5 or more or provide services to 5 or more individuals, then we would ask that a community group or a nonprofit work through the permitting services new platform that was mentioned earlier this evening, there is the ability for nonprofits and churches to apply online for a permit to do this. And I will just share also that you'll see in the ordinance, the one thing that didn't change is that we are still proposing that a member of our police department and/or a code enforcement officer, if there were to be events that did not have permits arranged for in advance, that they would be the entity that would engage at the time of the event with whoever was hosting the event. So at that concludes our presentation this evening, and we're prepared to answer any questions that you may have.
Ordinance number 2024-47, an ordinance of the City of Largo, Florida, amending the Largo Code of Ordinances by amending Chapter 21, Streets, Sidewalks, and Other Public Places by creating Section 21-83, regulating outdoor social service events at public parks, providing for conflict, providing for severability, and providing for an effective date.
Thank you. Do we have any cards on this?
We have one card, Greg Gardner.
Good evening. This subject is personal, and it is the second main story, and the first paper comes out this summer. And it's titled Birthing Benevolence. And it's a story really about faith, love, and hope, and a purpose in our life, more specifically how purpose finds us. And I've been with Carla Mogan now for 10 months, following her group, very closely. It's an inspirational story. And what I can tell you is that this is really on the edge of violating our constitutional rights. And this goes back to Food Not Bombs, and it was overruled in the Fifth Circuit. And they were dead nuts. And then we had Alan Zimmett, we had Noah Drecker come up here, and they mumbled. And they can get away that to the layman. Well, I had 3 attorneys try to decipher what they said. Can't figure it out. This is intentional obfuscation by our city attorney again. And that's what he's good at. So she mentions 5 or more. I wouldn't go there. I wouldn't do that. She mentions unsafe food, and the whole idea of unsafe food is a narrative fallacy. That's a can of worms. It's just too broad. Public health and safety, I'm not buying it. I know that she worked real well with Michael Carter and Carla Mogan. But it was supposed to be just limited to Largo Central Park. Now it's expanded. All I can tell you is I would can this, I would go back, and I would really try to eliminate the idea of selective enforcement or persecution, any one person or group. This 5 is not good, and it was supposed to be limited to just Largo Central Park, and the scope got a little bit expanded. Vote how you want. This story is 3 pages. This is personal. This is about humanity. Don't trample on our rights. Find a happy medium. Go back to the table. She'll do her job. But I think management, looking at you, John, needs to come clean with the public a little bit. You need to be honest with these ordinances. Just the title is kind of deceptive. It's very deceptive, if you ask me. Do right. Do good. This is humanity. And do it always. Thank you.
Thank you.
That was the only card.
Thank you. Commissioner Johnson.
First, I want to say thank you. I appreciate the changes that we made to be a little more accommodating to our churches and charitable organizations. And again, it's all going to be how we enforce, right? It comes down to that, for common sense about how we enforce things. And people aren't, doing things they shouldn't, then, at least you have the tools that you need to do what you need to do. So I appreciate that. And just thank you for the work that you did on this. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Commissioner Smith.
I know I was a negative person on the first reading, and so with the 2 organizations that you were with, are they completely endorsing this as was written right now? The Hydrate and Mike. Did they come out as an organization and say they're endorsing this?
They did not use the term endorse, but we did have a meeting with them and back and forth email correspondence, and they did have influence on several parts of this, and they were in agreement with the changes that we had proposed, yes.
Okay. Like I said, I like I appreciate the changes. I mean, the fee was one that kind of caught me in the end, or when I was reading through it, and I appreciate that coming out. I still have very high hesitation to this one. I can't wrap my head around supporting this. I will support, I forgot to do it before, but I will be sending this copy to the SPLC to get their opinion on it, Southern Poverty Law Center, because they did challenge the one in Fort Lauderdale. Because I'd like their opinion on this, because if we're going to be getting sued again, I'd rather know ahead of time if this is happening. I totally get, the parks are, I love them near and dear. I take my niece and nephew. I've been out there. We've been out on the trains. I love the trains, and I've seen some of the bad, but the good, and I have a hard time, like I say, putting this in there. And I know our police department will not be out there just arresting people, but it's just in my heart of heart, I cannot support this at this moment. So, thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Lauser.
Yeah, so sorry, I wasn't here the first time this was brought up, but I'm kind of curious, and I understand, I think, the general gist of what it's trying to get at, but I think it's making rules that don't need to be made, especially, I take issue with 5. I think that's a little bit restrictive. I mean, that's if I find five poor folks in the park and want to feed them, buy them a cheeseburger. You know, if I make it 6, I now need a permit, and I think that's a bit overreach. So I don't think I can support this either.
Thank you, Commissioner DeBreezy.
Thank you. So how is a well-meaning church or nonprofit that is in the park just trying to help out some folks if they didn't know about this? How are we letting them know that they're supposed to get a permit to be able to do this?
Well, let me defer to Sergeant Dulski on that, because they would be the ones that were in the field.
Sure, I actually talked to John Prato, the supervisor for Central Park, earlier this morning, and we talked about having some signage, and if they wish to donate supplies, food, whatever, that maybe we could put the QR code for HLA, which is the Homeless Leadership Alliance, which has a yellow book that shows every agency and organization that offers services to homeless where they could donate. So we talked about signage this morning.
And clarify again, if the police department stumbles upon a group that's helping out, I know it's common sense, they're just not going to haul them off out of the park, but they're probably just going to tell them, look, you need to do this the right way, or let them finish what they're going to do. I mean,
sure.
Is it how they react? I know you can't explain what every situation is going to be, but.
No, I wanted to actually comment for Commissioner Smith's comment as well earlier. So this is not an arrestable ordinance. This is an ordinance that would be covered as a Class 2 classification, which is a $180 fine, and to be issued a notice to appear if it came to that point. Our whole idea is to obviously provide education first. If someone doesn't know that this is against city ordinance, of course the officers or code enforcement officers or the park staff themselves can tell them nicely that this isn't allowed in our parks because of the rat problems, trash problems, et cetera, that we've had in the past, and that, here's some organizations that can accept your donation.
And also direct them to the parks where they would be able to provide that service.
I had some questions about, thank you. I had some questions about both the Victor Newman and the Hydrate the Homeless folks. When have they most recently seen this? Do they know we were meeting today to discuss it?
Yes, we did provide that information to them, and they have been monitoring and staying in touch with us, and we did obviously had to postpone due to the recent hurricanes.
Right.
So they have been staying in touch.
And secondly, because it's interesting to me, my assumption is, I don't know if this is accurate or not, because it's an assumption, but my assumption is that they're okay with this, the way that it is. And they were clearly not okay with it, the way that it was presented the first time. And I appreciate that it was taken back to the drawing board. I do think that 5 is probably too small of a number. So I don't know if the commission would be interested in adjusting that number to maybe make folks more comfortable with, it's different if you set up a tent and it's easy to get 5 people. You have one family that is hungry or whatever. So if you set up a tent, 20 would be a more reasonable number. That's for a bigger group, right? So it seems a little bit ambiguous either way, to tell you the truth. But that's my only hang-up. And I think that the absence of these groups, which there was 30 people here last time, and we heard from them, and I think that we clearly paid attention to what they said and their concerns with what was presented. And I'd like to have assurance that they're comfortable with the way that this is, because they're doing good in our community and they're helping people, and I don't want to get in the way of that.
They certainly, particularly Hydrate the Homeless, did specifically want a number defined. I think I can safely say that they would certainly support a larger number than 5. But they felt strongly that there needed to be a number in the ordinance was their primary point.
Yeah, because if it just says groups of people, then
right, it
2
wasn't
is a
specific
group of
enough.
people.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you, Commissioner Holt.
Yeah, I just wanted to also, I had a trouble with that 5 as well and wondered how that number came about, because I just looked at my 4 sisters and my mom, and I was like, oh, that's 5. So if our husbands joined us, then we would be 10, so how do you constitute such a small number? It is a little bit of a reinforcement that there are not some of the other agencies out here, again, saying no, no, no. So, and if you have been, in fact, in touch with the ones that were here, and there's nobody here protesting this today, I'm okay with that, but I do have a problem with the number 5. I think we need, it needs to be a greater number. It doesn't, to me, it doesn't make sense for 5. Thank you.
What's a good number?
It's a great number, but.
You want 15?
Not for this.
You want 15?
20. I mean, at least, to me, it's 15, 20 people. That's, anything over that, that's a large group. But, 5 is a family gathering.
So what number is a reasonably enforceable number that would help us do what the purpose of this is without being too small of a number, if you will?
I think our original talks, we had talked about 20. I think in the original draft back in June was 20.
Okay.
So I'm not sure where that number went. I know we had removed it on some recommendations, and then it went down to 5 on some recommendations. So, if you guys want a higher number, and that's what it takes to, make sure that we keep our parks clean and sanitary and safe, then, you give us the guidance and we'll make the alterations.
Thank you. Commissioner Smith.
Curiosity, why do we need an ordinance if we just put signs out there? I mean, and then for educating people and trying to let them, and from the good of the heart, trying to say, we get what you're doing, but have more education out there. I have a hard time with an ordinance and doing this. And how many times have we had like major issues where there's been rats and someone's left tons of foods out there in the span of my 12 years here?
We do have staff from Recreation, Parks, and Arts, so perhaps I'll ask them
They're
if
gonna
they
hate me
wouldn't
now.
mind coming up.
I'm sorry.
We're just going to go to the head of the line.
Thank you, Taylor.
Should I stand here or over there? Easier.
Knock yourself
I'm Taylor Kahns. I'm the park superintendent. I've been the superintendent for about 2 years. Prior to that, I was a supervisor for Central Park for about 4. I've been with the city for 13 years. I would say this is a cyclical problem. It's usually somewhere around annually, might be like a 13-month or 11-month. The last time this was a significant issue was 2 years ago. So it's been 2 years since we've had a major problem. But it does cycle through, like I said, maybe once every 11 to 12, 13 months, where there will be significant rat infestations. One of the biggest issues that we find is raw, uncooked meat just gets left in the trash, and that attracts a lot of rats. That answers the question.
Okay, yep, thank you. Sorry to put you on the spot.
You're fine.
Thank you. Vice Mayor Holmes.
You want an amendment?
Aye.
I move to amend ordinance number 2024-47 from groups of 5, change that from 5 to 20 or more on first reading.
So I have a motion to amend it to 20. Is there a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second, and that's just to change the number.
Just change the number to 20.
It doesn't approve the ordinance at this point. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
No.
Who was no? Raise your hand if you were no. So, were you a no?
No.
Okay.
That was just to raise the number, correct?
Yes,
Yes.
just to raise the number. So, motion passes 5-2 to raise the number.
Who was the other nay?
DeBreezy and Smith.
Thank you.
Yep. And Commissioner Lauser.
So just to, I guess, build on what Commissioner Smith was saying, I mean, it's already illegal to litter in the park and to do, you know, to leave trash behind. So I get what this is trying to get at, but I agree with him. I don't know that we necessarily need an ordinance that could be applied too strictly. We can already fine people for littering and leaving garbage after an event or after. So if I show up with 50 people and I clean up perfectly and haul out all my trash, what's the problem? If I show up with 5 people and I leave a bunch of trash behind and bring a bunch of rats in, fine me. I mean, that's you can get me for littering. There's other laws and rules that we can use to apply to not have to generate another ordinance. Just a thought.
Thank you, Commissioner Johnson.
Is it that they can't come into the park at all and do this, or they have to have a permit to come into the park to do it?
So the proposed ordinance as it's written now says that these events could not be held at Largo Central Park or any of the city's nature parks, but they would be permitted in the rest of the parks within the city's park system with the permit.
So even with a permit, they
do
can't do
it. Yeah, that's
Central
not
Park.
what I thought our last ordinance allowed it with a permit. Anyway.
Any park.
Is that anybody else's recollection?
I'm pretty sure that Central Park was always excluded. Is that the nature?
And the nature preserve.
Yeah, the nature parks were added because of the trash and stuff that's left behind. Basically, when people get food items of either prepared or snacks or water or what have you, they'll pick through the items that they want to keep or consume, and then the rest is left, and that makes its way into the nature parks and the water
If I have
tables
a
and all
picnic
that
with my
stuff.
family in the park, I do the same thing, right? Sort of.
In a way, yes. But if
I mean,
I'm having a picnic
if I'm
with my
bringing
family,
large quantities of
bringing what
food
they're
and
going to eat.
handing it out, but I think, we could fix that with a permit and then make sure they're doing it correctly and following it. I just thought if they had a permit, it'd be okay, personally. So I guess I misread it or misheard.
Thank you, Vice Mayor Holmes.
Well, as you know, I'm kind of a simple person. Is there a reason why the Largo Police Department would like to have an ordinance like this on the books? Yes or no?
Well, I can tell you there's several reasons. right?
I'm all ears.
Okay, let's talk about it honestly and out front. There's nothing being withheld with this ordinance. Basically, what we're saying is that with all of our programs that we've put in place regarding homeless activity, regarding any of the ordinances and programs that we've put in place, it's always services first. And we want everyone to go get services. Central Park, McGowan Nature Park are not places where someone should go to expect to receive services. I would love for them to go to a shelter or an organization, a food bank, to receive services. So there's been lots of studies that have been conducted around the country. Tampa had them, where a typical person on the side of the road eats 7 to 8 times a day. And then the money and stuff like that that's taken in as well is used for other illicit activities. So our main interest in this is that we're keeping our parks clean, we're keeping them safe, and then we're not having a large social service event without proper notifications that it's going to occur. If that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. I would go for an answer a little more to the point. Is there a reason that the Largo Police Department would like to have something like this on the books above and beyond the ordinances? We already have litter ordinances, we already have loitering ordinances and things like that. This here, would the Largo Police Department find it beneficial to have this type of ordinance in their quiver?
Well, the more tools that are in your toolbox, the better. So, I mean, it would be a tool to make sure that people are getting permits and that, you know, these events are being handled in a safe manner.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Johnson.
I'm sorry, I didn't click last time.
Commissioner Holt, did you have something?
No, I'm good, thank you.
I move to approve ordinance number 2024-47 as amended on first reading and schedule a second reading and public hearing on December 17, 2024.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. This amendment as amended. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
No.
Oh, raise your hands, the noes.
Motion passes 4-3.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next is ordinance number 2025-01.
Good evening, Mayor and Commissioners. I know it's been a long evening for you all, and we appreciate you taking the time with us tonight for this kind of momentous code amendment we have before you tonight. This item is a significant comprehensive development code amendment, revising several sections of the code to execute the Housing for All initiative. Before we dive into the proposed amendments, which Lacey will cover in a moment, I'm just going to give you a brief overview of the background and the purpose of the Housing for All initiative that we have for Largo. Data shows that housing is a critical need in Largo. Before the COVID-19 pandemic, half of Largo households were living paycheck to paycheck. Since 2019, before the pandemic started, rent prices have increased 41% by 2022, and for single-family homes, the prices rose 46% during that same time. As such, housing instability has become an increasing concern. The City of Largo recognizes that access to safe and healthy homes is a foundation for a strong and resilient community. 90% of people that work in Largo do not live in the city. This impacts local businesses' ability to hire and retain employees, including essential services such as healthcare and education, and adds to traffic congestion with high volume of commuters coming from outside Largo each day to work. The COVID recovery team identified a need to evaluate the city's codes and programs to identify barriers to the provision of housing. Having more housing options in the community supports the city's vision for being the community of choice in Tampa Bay, where residents can live, work, and play throughout the various stages of their lives. The city partnered with a consultant, Partners for Economic Solutions, and its subconsultant, Spakowski & Associates, to conduct a housing needs analysis, evaluate the city's codes, and recommend code changes. The proposed amendments are a result of the analysis and recommendations. This initiative was titled Housing for All, with the purpose of expanding rental and homeownership opportunities to meet current and future housing needs for the Largo community. The Housing for All initiative seeks to modernize the city's codes to allow for different housing types, sizes, and price points to provide options other than traditional detached single-family homes and large-scale apartment complexes. The housing needs analysis that was conducted showed the housing development has not kept up with demand due to the increasing rent and purchase prices of homes. The analysis was also included in your agenda packets. Largo will need 2,100 new units by 2033 just to keep up with countywide population growth and prevent future shortages like we saw in 2021 that helped skyrocket those prices. Keeping in mind that is a net increase. I know we've lost some homes during the storms and so forth, so that number is just based on population growth. Housing will be needed in great variety. 2/3 of those responding to the community survey as part of the Housing for All initiative reported they expect housing needs to change as an elderly parent moves in, their children move out and need their own homes, or they expect changes in income that will impact their housing budget. Expanding market rate housing will also help ease pressure on lower priced units and reduce the growth in those rent rates overall. To help those with the greatest housing needs, those spending more than half of their income for housing, we need solutions for households making up to 50% of the area median income. By 2033, those segments will include 2,800 homeowners in Largo, may include, and 4,450 renter households. These include many of the city's seniors and persons with disabilities. The City of Largo recognizes that reducing the number of severely cost-burdened households will not be solved only through building new housing construction. This is one component of addressing those needs, and will likely need a multi-pronged approach to address housing affordability. Other such programs would include home share programs, energy efficiency, home improvement programs, and improved access to jobs for helping the overall solution to address housing affordability in Largo. This slide shows the availability of different housing types within the City of Largo currently. As shown, the majority of housing supply are detached single-family homes or mobile homes. Diverse housing types such as the smaller home developments are relatively low in the city. These types of homes can provide different price point opportunities not seen through large apartment complexes or detached single-family homes. Our mobile home stock has been a valuable source for affordable homes for decades. Over the past few years, however, lot rents have drastically increased. Insurance for units has been difficult for residents to obtain, and this part of our housing stock has a higher vulnerability to storm events, especially wind events. So in terms of community engagement, in addition to that housing needs assessment, community engagement efforts were undertaken through the summer and fall of 2023, revealed that it is important to the community in regard to housing and what should be implemented with these code amendments. A summary of the community engagement efforts were also included in your packet. Community workshops, focus groups, and surveys, and also input sessions with technical staff from multiple departments were conducted over the period of the last year and a half. The workshop was held in January with Planning Board, Community Development Advisory Board, Community Redevelopment Agency Advisory Board, and the city's Affordable Housing Advisory Committee to review the main concepts of this proposed changes in the codes. A similar work session was also held with the City Commission in January 2024. These input sessions helped form the Housing for All Recommendations report, which was also attached in your packet, and ultimately the code changes you'll see today. So a few of the big themes that we heard throughout from residents, developers, and other community members on what they would like to see as housing options and opportunities in the future. Some of the major themes included allowing a variety of housing types that are placed appropriately in the city, larger buildings on busier streets that maximize use of land, allowing accessory dwelling units citywide, prioritizing opportunities for affordable workforce and senior housing, ensuring homes have access to green space and multimodal opportunities, repurposing commercial space for mixed use, and encouraging porches, community space, and landscaping and building design. Overall, the needs analysis and community engagement efforts show that an update to the city codes was needed to diversify Largo's housing portfolio. Code updates would allow different types of housing that can serve different price points and different housing needs for our community. This is in line with the recommendations we have received from the city's Affordable Housing Advisory Committee in previous years as well. The project seeks to change some of the foundations for the future, but it is not an overnight solution, nor will it see a rapid increase in development due to the limited supply of undeveloped land in our community. So this is related to incremental growth at smaller proportions with a variety of different housing options. And I will turn it over to Lacey to explain what the code amendments include.
So the following slides cover a high-level overview of the proposed amendments for the Housing for All initiative. There are 3 primary goals with this amendment. 1, expand where accessory dwelling units, or ADUs, are allowed. 2, define small type and medium type housing and where it can be allowed and encouraged. And 3, create standards for small type and medium type housing. These amendments accomplish the first goal of expanding where accessory dwelling units are allowed by updating the allowable use tables, Table 6.1 and Table 6.2, and creating a new section that sets standards for ADUs citywide. Currently, the development code only allows ADUs in the West Bay Drive and Clearwater Largo Road community redevelopment districts. The proposed amendment will allow ADUs citywide on all residential, commercial, and mixed-use land uses, as well as institutional and commercial recreation land uses. These ADUs will not be allowed on single-family, or will only be allowed on single-family or non-residential lots. They will not be allowed in the special flood hazard areas or the coastal high hazard areas. ADUs can be within, above, or in addition to the main structure or a separate structure on the same lot, as long as they have a separate entrance, kitchen, bathroom, and sleeping area. In addition to expanding the location of ADUs, the proposed amendments set additional standards for ADUs. These standards relate to size, design, setbacks, and parking that differentiate between an ADU on a non-residential property or an ADU on a single-family residential property. The design guidelines ensure that ADUs complement the surrounding neighborhood aesthetics. Another major change from previous standards apply to ADUs on single-family properties. In line with Florida statutes, single-family home property owners must sign an affidavit that the ADU will be rented at an affordable rate to very low, or moderate income households. Additionally, the property owner will be required to acknowledge that the owner will either occupy the primary dwelling unit or the ADU. Lastly, ADUs will not count against the allowable maximum dwelling units per acre on a property, and for this reason, ADUs will only be required to go through the building permit process. These amendments accomplish the second goal of defining small type and medium type housing and where it can be allowed and encouraged by creating 2 new categories of housing types in the allowable use tables and a new density bonus. Small type and medium type housing, often referred to as missing middle housing, includes various types of multi-unit low-rise housing in smaller buildings, and many of which can fit into the neighborhoods of detached homes. These types of homes address shortages that boost rents, offer a greater variety of housing types, sizes, prices, and rents, and use limited land resources more efficiently. They help increase more naturally occurring affordable home options because of their size and layouts. Many of these types of homes are already allowed in most land uses in Largo, but had significant barriers that have prevented them from being built in recent decades. On the left are small type housing, defined as 2 to 4 detached or attached units that can be built on a single family lot and are compatible with the massing of a single family home. These types include duplexes, triplexes, quadplexes, townhomes small, and cottage courts, which are essentially small homes built around a shared courtyard. On the right are medium type housing, defined as 5 to 12 attached units, and these include townhomes medium, courtyard buildings, and multiplexes. And this is where the building massing is a little bit larger than what would be found in lower residential areas. Buildings larger than 12 attached units would fall under the existing multifamily category in the CDC.
This table shows the proposed changes to allowable uses for small type and medium type housing. Small type housing would be allowed in the suburban, urban, and mixed use categories, since these align more with the style of single-family detached homes. Medium type housing would only be allowed in the more urban and mixed use classifications, since they are larger in massing than small type, but could fit more easily into the smaller lots than big multifamily developments. And both types of housing would be allowed in the neighborhood residential, city home, mixed-use corridor, and medical arts character districts of the community redevelopment districts. The proposed amendments also encourage small and medium-type housing through the small type and medium-type housing density bonus. The density bonus may be utilized for development or redevelopment of a site as long as it's not in a coastal high hazard area or a special flood hazard area. If utilizing the density bonus, the development must meet the dimensional standards set out for small type and medium type housing, but it may supersede the minimum lot size requirements per unit. The density bonus only provides benefits for added density and does not change impervious surface ratio requirements. If a development uses the bonus, it will be prohibited from using the bonus units as short-term rentals. And if a development that uses the bonus creates more than 10 total units, 10% of the units must serve households at or below 80% area median income. The proposed amendments achieve goal number 3 to create standards for small type and medium type housing in a newly established section, Section 8.6. In line with community feedback, these standards give flexibility to designing these type of housing so that it is compatible and blends with existing surrounding neighborhoods. Density and impervious surface ratio requirements for small type and medium type housing will be determined by the future land use map designation unless the property is using the density bonus. Proposed dimensional standards for setbacks, maximum building height, minimum lot size, and maximum building width are laid out in Table 8.4. And small type housing would have a maximum building height of 2 stories, while medium type housing would have a maximum building height of 4 stories. And it should be noted, if a property is in a special area or an overlay zone, it must follow the standards outlined in Chapter 7 and that corresponding plan. Design standards for off-street parking, landscaping, doors and windows, and other common design elements are also proposed. And additional standards are set regarding duplexes, triplexes, and quadplexes, most of which were moved from Section 15.1 in the current development code. Cottage courts and courtyard buildings also have some additional standards for the size of the central green and parking. And most of the townhome standards were moved from the current Section 15.7.6, but some additional standards were given to townhome medium, where if they use a bonus, they should have rear parking in the back if possible, and there should be a 40 square feet per dwelling unit of outdoor living space. Because of these affordability issues, Housing for All has become a priority for the City of Largo, and this priority aligns with all of the city's strategic focus areas. Specifically, it helps achieve the strategic goals of fostering a community where opportunities exist for residents and businesses to realize their full potential, build a community of safe and healthy neighborhoods, and cultivate and support a vibrant intergenerational community that attracts residents and businesses. The code amendment proposed takes into consideration the city's Sustainability and Resilience Action Plan by addressing economic vulnerabilities of the community through housing types that will meet the needs of the community, preserving the current impervious surface ratios, providing options for replacing mobile home units with units that meet Florida Building Code, and prohibiting density bonuses to be used in flood-prone areas. On October 3rd, 2024, the Planning Board recommended approval of ordinance number 2025-01 by a vote of 6-0 with one condition. The Planning Board recommended the City Commission consider an amendment to allow ADUs on small-type housing properties, which would include duplexes, triplexes, quadplexes, townhome small, and cottage courts. Currently, the proposed language only allows an ADU on single-family detached properties. Planning staff researched this proposal and found only one nearby jurisdiction, the City of St. Pete, that allows accessory dwelling units on certain types of small-type housing. Although staff appreciates the desire of Planning Board to go beyond the proposal, staff also supports an incremental growth approach that would keep the language as it is presented and reevaluate making this amendment in the future. Therefore, staff recommends approval of proposed ordinance number 2025-01 to amend several sections of the Comprehensive Development Code to execute the Housing for All initiative. If City Commission approves the amendment will go to second reading and a public hearing on December 17th, 2024. Thank you, and staff is available for questions.
Ordinance number 2025-01, an ordinance of the City of Largo, Florida, amending the City of Largo Comprehensive Development Code by amending subsections 3.2, 3.3.1, 3.3.2, 3.4.1, and 3.4.2 to classify residential developments within the tiered development review system, subsections 3.5.1 and 3.5.2, to provide for administrative modification of principal building setbacks for properties adjacent to an unimproved alley and building width standards for small-type and medium-type housing, subsection 4.5.3, eliminating certain compatibility criteria for comprehensive plan amendment, subsection 6.2, amending classifications of allowable uses within land use classifications, subsection 7.1.1, 7.2.3a, and 7.2.4a, eliminating certain use restrictions and use characteristics applicable to community redevelopment districts, subsection 7.6, cross-referencing use density and intensity restrictions for certain overlay districts, subsections 8.2.3, 8.2.4, 8.2.6, tables 8-1, 8.3, 8.4, and 8.5, updating definitions of density and intensity as applied to residential equivalents and providing for infill, setback, and height standards, subsection 8.6, renumbered 8.7, to classify small-type and medium-type housing as multifamily in the parkland and recreation facilities impact fees table, subsection 8.7, renumbered to 8.8 for code reference consistency, subsection 9.2.4 and 9.5.1b to provide for internal consistency, subsection 14.1.3, adding small type and medium type housing as eligible for affordable housing development designation, subsections 15.2, 15.3, and 15.4 related to supplemental development standards for residential care and treatment facilities, manufactured homes, and seasonal RV parks, subsection 15.6.3, updating an illustration of the application of Table 6-1 for accessory uses to religious institutions, eliminating subsection 15.7.1, and providing for accessory dwelling units in a new section, renaming Chapter 16 to accessory uses and structures, amending subsections 16.1, 16.5, and 16.8, updating standards of certain accessory uses, subsection 17.1.2, updating the definition of a nonconforming structure to include a manufactured home meeting certain criteria, amending Table 9-2 to provide for parking requirements applicable to accessory dwelling units, and updating certain defined terms in Chapter 20 to correspond with the proposed amendments by repealing and consolidating subsections 15.1 related to duplex and triplex standards and 15.7.6 related to single-family developments attached in the community redevelopment districts by creating subsections 8.6 providing standards and a bonus for small-type and medium-type housing, 8.9 clarifying available bonuses, 15.23 providing standards regarding tiny houses, and 16.14 establishing citywide standards for accessory dwelling units, providing for severability, and providing for an effective date.
Thank you. I'm going to give you a second to breathe before I ask you if we have any cards on this.
We have 2 cards. First is Matt Faustini.
It's been a long road to get here, like was a long road for Diane to read that ordinance. Matt Faustini, 1015 Lake Palms Drive, Largo. I'm so proud we're at this moment. I do ask the commission to accept the planning board's unanimous recommendation to approve this measure as amended to allow 1 ADU on small type housing. As you saw on the staff slide, only 13% of Largo's housing stock classifies as small type housing, and the percentage of that is owner occupied is dramatically lower anyways. So this incremental, because we're already talking about a substantially small number of properties in Largo anyways. But I've given you guys numbers, stats, everything over the years, 2 years we've been doing this. So I'm going to go a little different route. Why do we need this plan? Today I have to make 4 times more, adjusted for inflation, to buy the same home that my parents bought in 1997, even though I have a college degree. My sister, my niece, and my brother-in-law now live in New Jersey. This will be the first holidays that I don't get to spend with my immediate family because I have lost family members to this housing crisis. So all I have left for home ownership is hope. That's the reality. All I have left is hope. And there's a speech from a great civil rights leader that kind of stood out to me. And he said, the only thing so many have to look forward to is hope. And you have to give them hope. Hope for a better world. Hope for a better tomorrow. Hope for a better place to come to. Hope for the us's. The us's. Because without hope, the us's give up. So you and you and you got to give us hope. At the end of the day, that's what this ordinance is about, hope. Thank you.
Thank you.
Greg Gardner.
That was a pretty good speech from Matthew. Thank you, Mr. Faustini. This is one of those things that I'm indifferent on. I think it's great, but there's a lot of things that can go wrong. I feel sorry for you commissioners having to vote on this because there's too many things that can go wrong, but there's too many goods. I do not like the amended version when we start putting ADUs where there's duplexes and whatnot, but single-family homes like mine, 3rd acre, drive goes in the back, you can park 8 cars, and everyone can do donuts. Sure, and would I build one? Absolutely. And would there be an elder in there? Yes. Would I have, would it be short-term rentals? Oh, hell no. But not everyone thinks like me. But I would like to just put a short spot in the paper, however this pans out. I am indifferent, I'm not for or against. I think it's great that this is actually coming before the table, but we've got 2 new commissioners. You might want to just give them guys a little bit of time, but I'm looking forward to this. But there needs to be restrictions. And another good question, where does homestead exemption come in? So my house is homestead exemption, but what about my ADU? Or my brother from another mother's living in it, you know? What? Well, how does that apply with taxes? I don't know. There's more to work out, but there needs to be restrictions. So good luck. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Johnson.
Just a couple questions. I heard where you mentioned that short-term rentals wouldn't be allowed or would be restricted in like the medium-sized units. Would that be the same for ADUs? Would ADUs be limited?
So there are preemptions at the state level, so we had to walk the line of those preemptions. So we are allowed to prohibit the short-term rentals when there's a density bonus taken advantage of. Okay. So that's the only way we can restrict that. As far as the accessory dwelling units and some of the smaller type, missing, or smaller type housing that's in this. What the housing needs study showed is that the predominant number of short-term rentals are 3 and 4 bedroom homes, single-family homes in our neighborhoods, families coming on vacations and so forth. So we're not as likely, naturally, to see that occur in the duplexes and the accessory dwelling units. But yeah, our hands are tied to some extent on those preemptions. However, if we are providing a program of some sort, if there is a funding incentive at some point, we absolutely can make that part of that criteria, that there'd be a restriction placed on that unit or that property to prohibit that as part of getting that funding. So.
Excellent. Okay, great. And then I noticed that the smaller units are limited to 2 stories. And I mean, everywhere I go, I'm in the construction business, but we build 3-story townhouses and duplexes and triplexes everywhere nowadays. Is there a reason why we in Largo restrict smaller homes or even single-family homes to 2-story?
Well, we originally proposed it to stay at 2 stories because that is the current requirement for single-family homes. And the idea for the small type housing is that it essentially blends into a neighborhood. You wouldn't even be able to really tell the difference between single-family home and that. But
the other thing I wanted to touch on that we wrestled with a lot, that came out to, you'll see 2 different types of townhome categories in here, and that is because you have your more suburban townhomes that really look like single-family homes, right? Then you have your more urban style where it's larger massing, right? You have numerous units attached together. Those ones would be in that middle type housing, which would allow the higher stories and so forth. Or if it's in the downtown, it would follow the requirements in the downtown under those codes. So that's why we separated for the townhome specifically, wrestling with what's more suburban versus urban on that style.
That makes sense. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Lauser.
Hey, so first of all, great job, and thanks for all the reading for my first meeting. That was a lot. I just wanted a little bit of clarification on 2 things. ADUs rented at an affordable rate, that's very ambiguous. How do you suspect that you're going to keep things affordable? What's that definition?
So this was just throughout all the amendments. Affordability was one of the other components we wrestled with, finding what would be more naturally occurring based on the size of the units and what types of housing might need that requirement if they're getting a certain incentive and so forth. The state does require anyone pulling a permit for an accessory dwelling unit to sign an affidavit that says it will be used, rented at an affordable rate, serving certain income levels. However, that doesn't prohibit them from, if they have an elderly parent that's just living in there, they don't have to charge them rent, for example, or their teenagers moving into that once they're graduate high school and then want their own place. So there likely is not going to be any other enforcement other than requiring the affidavit, again, unless we are providing a financial incentive. If there's a financial incentive, we'll likely use the same income and rent limits that we use for our other housing programs, and that would require an annual recertification with income documents and so forth, and copy of the lease to make sure that they're staying in compliance. So if there's more incentive provided, we'll provide that, but we also, even with some of the smaller types, we didn't want to burden some of our smaller landlords that are likely charging more affordable rates just on the size of the units and so forth. But once you get to a little larger scale, having that percentage that's required set aside where it would have those annual monitoring requirements.
Gotcha. So, and second question, thank you, by the way, I'd like to understand better why the planning board recommended the amendment for ADUs on the small. So I don't. It seems to me like if it's a small lot, there's not enough room for an ADU to begin with. So why is that even an issue? Unless I'm not understanding it correctly.
Okay. So I think the point was brought up that there are some duplexes. We have some very long, narrow lots in Largo. So even with a duplex, that's probably about the same size as a single-family home now that there is room in the backyard. So small type, though, encompasses numerous types of housing, townhomes, cottage courts, the duplex, triplex, quadplex in our proposed code amendments. So that was It poses some difficulties for some of those different types of housing as well. But I think the point was, especially after the storms, when there's been loss of housing and so forth, if people have room to add those, they wanted to make that as an option. If there was room on the property where you could still meet the, the impervious surface ratios and so forth. I think that's where it was coming from.
All right, thank you.
I had a couple of questions. One was kind of around that ADU thing. If it's a duplex that has the property to potentially build an ADU, could they build, assuming there's space, could they build an additional duplex?
It would depend on the density calculation. So there is that missing middle, or the small medium type density bonus that they could use. So still, it's the number of units per acre that they get through that bonus. So it has to fit that number of units.
But it doesn't have to be a completely new project for them to possibly apply a density bonus. Is that correct?
If they had the space on the property, if they're below 4 units, or below 5 units, it would be running through a small scale site plan review process. So they would provide their survey, show where they're going to put it, and then it would go through a planning review to make sure that it's consistent with the codes and so forth. If it's more duplexes, if we're adding 6 total, 3 buildings of duplex, it runs through full site plan review process at that time.
And now, you mentioned, and there was a question about this, the short-term rentals, we can limit short-term rentals if there's a density bonus. Does that only apply to the density, the units that are increased?
It's the extra.
Yeah, so if there's 10 units and they use the density bonus to get an additional 2 of them can't be short-term rentals? Did I read that correctly?
That's our understanding, yes.
Okay. That probably won't do anything, to tell you the truth. And one thing that I've run into, I've seen in the past, where there's an ADU and there's a requirement to have an extra sewer connection, extra trash bin, and all these extra costs when there's your grandmother's living above the garage. Are we going to require a separate sewer connection, or is it?
No, we actually wrote into the code that they could either connect to the primary dwelling units connections or have their own separate. It depends on how
they want to do it. And that's just for the ADU, correct?
Yes. Yes.
All right, thank you. Commissioner DeBreeze.
Thank you. This is, a lot of good of this plan, and I'll reiterate what I said on the planning board, that I really like a lot of it, and I really like the engagement that was done with the community to get to the final plan. It did pass out of the planning board with an amendment, and out of the respect of the planning board, at the end of the discussion, I am going to offer an amendment tonight to accept that amendment. So, because it did pass out of there, and I want to be able to give the opportunity for a vote on that amendment. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Holk.
Yes, actually, in regards to Mr. Gardner's questions, because that was kind of in my head too, is how would the property tax work on those? Does the square footage just get added to the main home, the main dwelling that's already there, or is it 2 separate tax bills, or how does that?
So the homestead exemption would be based on the percentage of the property that's occupied by the property owner. So if the accessory dwelling unit makes up 25% of the property, then it would be 75% exemption, 25% not exempted. So if it's not being used by the primary owner.
But it wouldn't be like 2 separate tax bills?
No, it'd be one, it's still one
tax bill
property,
with-
correct. It would just change the exemption portion.
Okay.
Yep.
Was there a recent change that if it's like a relative, like your mom or something that's living, it doesn't increase your tax if you build an ADU? I thought that was recently passed.
That was Pinellas County for unincorporated. Pinellas County did move forward with that. We did not at this point. We wanted to see if this goes forward first, for one thing, but then also give a little bit of time to see how that's working, especially with the classifications of who was exempt from that, and make sure that tested legally that there was no issues with that.
And do you know if there was something at the state level being worked on along those lines?
For the accessory dwelling units, I'm not aware
Okay, that's all
of
right. I
exemptions
thought
for
our
that.
property appraiser was trying to encourage accessory dwelling units by.
One thing that we have talked about on our Advantage Pinellas work group is if there's a way, because it's not counted in density as an accessory, as an extra unit, but on the property appraiser, they don't have a different way to code it. It just shows as 2 units on the property. So I think that's one avenue the different jurisdictions could be working on, is to see if we can get an ADU code versus it showing as 2 units on the property.
All right, good. Thank you. Commissioner Smith.
Thank you. It was very informative, and I'm very appreciative of everything that y'all have put through this. I attended a Florida Housing Coalition Zoom meeting today and put that out there, and the staff actually were very impressed with y'all and the plan. They've been following it, and many of the participants were from the North County, and a couple of them actually reached out and asked if I could provide the framing that we're doing here. So kudos to y'all and everything. One thing that did come up on there was the SHIP funding uses. Could SHIP funds be used for ADUs, for construction, rehabs, or rentals?
So SHIP money is limited on how much can be used for rental. So that's one bumper we run into. I will say we are evaluating our community development block grant funds. We haven't gotten more from the disasters, but we did actually include in our waiver request to HUD to allow us to use CDBG for new housing construction, which usually we cannot, including accessory dwelling units. So if it's to help with storm recovery. So we did put that in there. The waiver was approved for that. So that may be an option that we can look at, is some of our community development block grant. The SHIP money, it's like 15%, unless we get large program income that we can also put toward rental. But we'll be evaluating a bunch of different sources to see if this goes through the different stages for adoption, putting some sort of program together to help out financially for creating ADUs.
And the tie-in, you said that the only other city around is St. Pete that's doing the extra with the ADU.
Allowing ADUs on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's late. But why not? I mean, I get it, but if are they having any problems? Is it not working? Did you talk to their staff about that?
It's a relatively new program, so they kind of had 2 ordinances when they approached the ADUs. So in 2020, sorry, I'm off in my years right now. In 2022, they passed an ADU ordinance that I think allowed ADUs citywide there and added some additional standards. But then in 2023 is where they essentially passed their missing middle density bonus and allowed ADUs to be built on, honestly, what they consider missing middle is duplexes, triplexes, quadplexes, and townhomes. They do not include cottage courts like we do. So it's a little hard to compare the two, because cottage courts kind of add a whole different set of circumstances than just the typical duplex that they're seeing is being added with their ADUs. Like, they're getting a lot of applications where they have a duplex and they do add an ADU. But when I mean a lot, I mean like there's maybe been 20 in the last year, since it's a year and a half since it's been implemented.
I'll just go bold. I mean, I agree, I'm hesitant, but I mean, right now everybody's hurting, and this is something there, and I don't see a problem with it, but that's just me. Thank you.
Just for a point of clarification on that, so with the accessory dwelling units, and this was part of our Affordable Housing Advisory Committee's recommendation, was to have, for any ADU, that the property owner live in one or the other. So should the commission decide to go with an amendment, we would seek direction if you'd still want the property owner to be in one of those units. We did a little search on duplex, triplex, quadplex in the property appraiser. About 16% of the property of those types of housing units in the city right now have some sort of homestead exemption on them. So the owner likely lives in one of the units on them. So the majority there's no ownership right now. So we would like that clarification. Additionally, with those small types, if there's any types that you do not feel it's appropriate, our concern predominantly, I think, is with the cottage courts. Since they're small type units on a shared area, how we'd, logistically fit an ADU on that kind of thing. So we would just like some direction on those two items should the commission move forward with that amendment.
Thank you. Yeah, I was going to ask about that, if we still require, which I think makes sense to still require the owner to live on site. And then if that's the case, I don't see a reason to not do it. I'm curious about, and I think you touched on this, is it based on whether or not there's a homestead on that property? How do we determine whether or not the homeowner lives on site? Or the
That's
property?
correct, the homestead exemption
Okay.
filed on there, so it would at least have to have a portion homesteaded. We do see some properties sometimes that are in a trust or shared with relatives where, one relative lives in the house, so it might only have 25% homestead. But any homestead exemption shows that there is a homeowner.
So it is possible if like a corporation that somebody owns the quadplex, they could live there and get a partial homestead?
The corporations, to my understanding from what I can tell on there, do not have any homestead exemption.
Okay.
So,
Okay, so maybe you'd have to word it to the effect of there has to be an owner that has a homestead exemption on site.
which it's in there currently with a single family on the ADU, so it would just be retaining that. We just want to make sure that was clear to you all when you're making your decision.
Yeah, I would be in favor of requiring an owner to be on site for those. And one thing that I wanted to mention, because nobody's mentioned it yet, I really appreciate the limiting, the encouraging density in the special high hazard areas and the flood areas. I think, I know that you've been working on this long before we got hit with a bunch of hurricanes, but it really shows us how important it is to pay attention to those maps when we're encouraging more people to live in an area. So thank you. And I'll entertain some motions. I don't see any more lights up on my board.
I would do it, this is a complicated motion, so I can use some.
The amendment's not that complicated. Start with that one.
Tell me if this is appropriate. If not, I'll go into details. I move to amend ordinance number 2025-01 to accept the amendment approved by the planning board? Is that, or do I break out that language from the planning board?
Well, I would clarify that requiring, are you going to require the
Yes, I
owner
can-
to live on property?
can add that
And then
too.
also, are we going to exclude cottage courts or include them?
Well, let's have that as discussion.
Could we exclude it on this one and then come back to staff down the road?
We will have other amendments we'll have to do in the future as we implement and find little tweaks we need to do. So, we'll be tracking things that will need tweaks as we get into
Well, this
implementation.
is the first reading anyway.
Okay, I'll try
So-
again. Go ahead.
So I believe the amendment that you stated was to approve the planning board's proposed amendment, which includes allowing accessory dwelling units on those smaller scale, not to include cottage courts, with the requirement that an owner lives on site with a homestead exemption.
Yes.
Second.
I have a motion and a second on that amendment. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes 7-0. And now we do have an amended motion. Or we could have an amended motion.
I move to approve ordinance number 2025-01 as amended on first reading and schedule a second reading and public hearing on December 17, 2024.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? I am just going to say, I know, Lacey, you've been working on this for a long time. It's kind of been your baby. So congratulations. I think the work, it's clear that you really followed not only the direction of this commission, but really the direction of the community. And so great work. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes 7-0. Thank you. Assistant City Attorney Johnston, anything this evening?
I do not have anything. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us tonight. Commissioner Smith.
Just a few, like I said, I attended the Florida Housing Coalition meeting, Zoom. It was very informative from some stuff I didn't really know, and learning about the north area was pretty interesting. The second was, I also on Saturday attended the National League of Cities, just to go over and kind of do a reconnaissance, basically, to see if it's something we as a city might be interested in down the road. I would say a lot of, it was really informative. I kind of wish I went for the whole time and not just one day, because it was a snippet of a couple work sessions we went to. But one was like a small community like our size and smaller coalition of cities and governments. And they were really on the ball. I mean, the president of the National League of Cities is on that committee. So he was really pushing hard for these smaller cities and us. Also, Carson and I a little bit was able to attend the homeless policy, kind of what they're all kind of, and it kind of fit a lot of the things that we're dealing with as a city on that issue. I think it is something we should look into now that we're branching out a little bit more past the Florida League of Cities. Being on one of the committees now, we keep kind of regurgitating some of the same stuff. I appreciate what they're going through, but I think when we're starting to look for funding from the national approach, we should probably start really considering joining them. And like I say, it was a great group. A lot of electeds from a lot of different places, just like we've all seen on the Florida League of Cities, but I think as a national approach, and their membership seemed to come with a great amount of resources for us and our staff. That's just my opinion there. So, but I thank the commission for allowing me to attend that. The other is, could we get we got an email today about debris standing where we're at and the cutoff date. Could we talk about that a little bit, where that is, so the citizens at home know about it now? Also, I was kind of curious a little bit, and if we could look to it and get it into the city manager's report, is the money that went to the county for the opioid funds. Where does that stand, and how much have they used, and is that still just sitting there, or has it depleted itself? I'm just kind of curious of that. Also, I got a whole bunch of phone calls, and I don't think I got any emails yet, but some of the residents got the 50% FEMA letter. It scared a lot of citizens who, unfortunately, it was not intended to be that way. It's to help them. I know staff said that we're going to be hosting some meetings with them, but I think we really need to get ahead of this really quickly, because it's starting to appear here a lot, and I'm getting a lot of residents when I walk that are really pissed at or upset with the city right now, and just they think it's ours. They don't have a communication point person to talk to. Just like we heard residents today talking about that they're having to jump through hoops to get in contact with a staff member, which shouldn't be. Maybe a splash page where it had all the information and who are the main point people to talk to, and what upcoming meetings that are being provided relating to this. And that's just my opinion. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Holmes.
Well, I'm going to ask the same question with the city manager. When you get your chance, can you clarify the December 1st deadline on the debris pickup? Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Also, it's my understanding that the city mayor, Largo's mayor is going to do the Christmas parade this year. Is this true?
That is well, I'm not the only one doing it.
Okay, but you've got the dates and the location and all that other stuff, and you're going to enlighten us accordingly.
It's on my list.
All right, then I'm not going to go any farther than that. And lastly, if you are traveling out of town for Thanksgiving, don't put your itinerary online. Tell us about it when you get home, because you've got some bad people out there, and they're going to be looking for this stuff, and they're going to say, oh, look at that, Michael's going out of town. We know where he lives. Anyway, post it after you get back and tell us how wonderful the turkey was. Have a good Thanksgiving.
Thank you. Commissioner DeBreezy.
Thank you. Just a very show of appreciation to everyone who has welcomed me and helped me in this first onboarding and leading up to tonight to being sworn in. So my deepest appreciation to everybody in the city and to everybody in this commission. And if you indulge me for 1 minute, I just want to say to my wife, Friday's our 21st wedding anniversary. She puts up with a lot of my shenanigans, including running for city commission. Again, all my love to my wife. So thank you very much, and happy Thanksgiving, everyone.
Thank you. Commissioner Lauser.
So it's obvious I've got a lot to learn, but thank you for the warm welcome, everybody here, everybody out there. I guess I'm just happy to be here and proud to serve, so looking forward to digging in.
Awesome. Commissioner Hulk.
Yes, I'd just like to say welcome also to John Benton. I'm looking forward to meeting you and working with you, and obviously looking forward to working with Commissioner DeBreezy and Lauser. Congratulations to you both. And just a little side note, Commissioner Smith, so Matt Butler and Rob Hatton have been doing an amazing job at getting back to people on emails that are being sent to them continuously regarding the 50/50 rule. So I've spoken with both of them several times, and they've really been above and beyond answering questions. So hopefully whoever you spoke with, if they could email them. I think phone calls are, I don't know anybody who answers their phones. I call here, I don't get anybody, nobody answers the phones for me either. So I found that emails are definitely the best route, and people can answer those at 1 o'clock in the morning and not bother anybody. But they do get answered, and they have done an amazing job regarding that 50/50 rule. So, because inquiring minds want to know. But that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Johnson.
Congratulations to our new commissioners, Lauser and Breezy. Welcome aboard. Looking forward to working with you guys. Also, congratulations to our team member of the quarter and managers of the quarter, Sean Clark, Raymond Adams, Kevin Miller, and Kelly Brown. So congratulations to them. That's all I've got.
Thank you. I've got a few things. First, welcome to our new commissioners. I'm excited to see you guys up here, and you spoke in your first meeting. I know a few folks up here that didn't actually do that, so good job. It was good. So second, I was going to ask, there was somebody, I forget, it might have been Mr. Faustini, somebody suggested that we have kind of a splash page, and maybe not for this year, but next year, hurricane season, maybe these are what to do if you get flooded, like, what you can do without a permit, what requires a permit, what the 50% rule is, and why that's in place, and what the point of it is. I mean, it's not our rule, but we enforce it, and as was pointed out, we enforce it maybe a little bit differently than other communities, and there's some reason for that. Like, it costs everybody a little bit less to have their insurance here, because we do things like that. And so putting that message out maybe in front of, with our hurricane messaging might be a really good idea.
Mayor, if I may, to add to that list, also, when you start, if you are flooded and you're hauling everything out to the road, like within the first, when you can first get back to your house. It's separated, but know in advance, like, if the storm's coming, but add that to that list prior to.
Talk a little bit, every storm is different, right? So some storms, our teams are going to be able to get out there and clean up the debris in a week or two, because there's little debris. Irma, Helene, Milton, it's 90 days, it's 3 months, and so we're hoping to hit that deadline. I have people calling me, well, regularly, but talking about, like, their neighborhood hasn't got a second pass yet, and it's awful. Like, if you think it's awful, take a drive around the county, and then come back to your neighborhood, and you'll probably feel a little bit better about it. But some expectations up front about how long it takes, the reason it takes so long, because it is 25 times the amount of debris that's typically picked up in a week. So it'd be 25 weeks. So with the same staff. So next, there was a mention of the old-fashioned Christmas parade in downtown. It's put on by the Largo Rotary Club, and so that parade is at noon in downtown Largo. It's December 21st, which is a Saturday. I heard it's not going to rain this year. But it's a 1 mile parade in downtown. We do have about 10 spots for entries, and I just got some emails, I think, while I was up here, because I saw them on my watch. But we have about 10 spots for entries. There's no charge for nonprofit organizations. For businesses, it costs $30, and all that money is spent by the Rotary Club to help advertise the parade. So the Rotary doesn't make any money on the parade. They just help organize it. And that's the 21st of December in downtown, kind of near the school board building in that little neighborhood on the brick roads. The Rotary is also having Death by Chocolate. If you haven't been to Death by Chocolate yet, it kind of kicks off the holiday season. It's December 6th, the night before the holiday tree lighting in Largo Central Park. So Death by Chocolate is just what it sounds like. You have a whole bunch of area restaurants provide some great chocolate desserts. Brewery has some chocolate beer, and the tickets, I think they're $25 ahead of time. All that money, we raise $20,000 to $30,000 in one night, and all that money goes to kids programs in the area. So it's a great cause. Come on out to Death by Chocolate. I know people that have tickets, so let me know if you want a ticket. And I think that's all other than Happy Thanksgiving. Mr. Kerp.
Thank you. First, I want to thank our Public Works crews. They have been working 6 days a week nonstop since the storm arrived, cleaning the community. We're probably about 75–80% through the city at this time, at least the first time through. We are asking all residents to please have everything that they hope to get taken up by December 1st. And then we will do the pickup, and then we will evolve back to our regular collection schedule. So again, December 1st is the date we're asking everyone to get their debris out on the curbside in the right of way where we can reach it from the street. And we will continue picking things up through the end. We have sent letters out to affected neighborhoods regarding the process for FEMA reimbursement, and try to get to questions dealing with building back in their neighborhoods. We will be starting meetings this week, going into next week, and then first week of December with various neighborhoods to try to get in person close to them, so people can continue to ask questions, interact with city staff. Our city staff has been amazing in dealing with just all the various questions that people have brought to them. Please continue to call City Hall, send emails. We're working hard to get back to everyone and provide correct and accurate information as best we can.
John, seeing this is our brush trucks are doing the pickup, are you still sorting it out between the brush and the construction debris?
Correct. Yeah, I believe collection is still being done, being monitored by FEMA. In order to be eligible for reimbursement, we do have to sort the trash. So please separate it, separate your debris from your white goods and from construction materials in those 3 different groups. We are not picking up electronics. Those need to be taken to the same disposal site that we always use on your own. But we will continue to collect things. Again, with FEMA monitoring, we're taking them over to Lot 14 where those items are deposited and will later be taken to permanent disposal.
For the folks at home, white goods are appliances. I didn't know that until about 6 months ago.
Should have just asked.
Any action items?
I had 2 things. A request by Mayor Brown that staff provide a report on the status of the Church Creek area, the project there, and plans moving forward. And a request from Commissioner Smith for information on the status of debris and the status of the opioid settlement funds.
Anything missed? Meeting's adjourned. Thank you very much.